Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the ASEAN Studies lecture series. We also would like to welcome those who are watching via web stream. In this series, we invite scholars and subject matter specialists to share with us their scholarship and expertise to enrich our understanding of what ASEAN is and who we are as a community. The past lectures include ASEAN in the Meta-Nation State Interface Dynamics by the late Dr. Silvano Mahiwo, Colonization and Decolonization of Southeast Asia by Dr. Azahar Madros of the Open University of Malaysia, ASEAN Open Regionalism by Dr. Lawan Tanad Silapakul of Sukhothai Tamatirat Open University, Opportunities and Challenges of Economic Globalization to ASEAN by Dr. Nguyen T. Tu Hong of the Hanoi Open University, and ASEAN in Southeast Asia, a cultural region by Dr. Jofe Santarita of the Asian Center UP Diliman. Today's lecture is being held in celebration of the ASEAN Week. To give us a fitting welcome, may I call on the Dean of the Faculty of Management and Development Studies, Dr. Primo Garcia.
Good morning to everyone, and I would like to welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Joyce Dorado Alegre, Professor Alegre from UP Visayas in Tacloban, and our viewers here in UPOU as well as online or via web stream. Um, when I was doing my PhD thesis, we usually have the seminars with with our teachers and professors. And during those meetings, um, we always talk about, because I took up organization studies, we always talk about big things like strategic change, organizational retrenchment, big topics that usually happen in the organization. And nobody talks about the little things that happen every day, the mundane, the conversations that take place in the hallway, the gossips, all these things that shape the organization. So it's also similar when it comes to social research, or even in ASEAN studies or what have you. You always talk about the big issues like employment, poverty, modernization, globalization. And most of the time, when we do those kinds of research, we talk to the decision makers, the leaders, things that happen at the top, when in fact, all these phenomenon always happen on the ground. Things that happen on the ground are what makes or develops the things that happen also in the macro level. So this also applies to topics such as food. Food is a very mundane activity, but we all know how important it is in our very own lives. Food is a source of nourishment. Without food, we're not going to be here. And at the same time, food is also an economic sector. Millions of people actually and billions of dollars are generated by the food industry. If we look at the supply chain, no, food is just something that exists on the table for most of us. But if we backtrack down the supply chain, down to the farmers, down to the input producers, we'll see how many people depend on it. The traders, the wholesalers, the distributors, the supermarkets, and then of course there are other support sectors there like marketing and the advertising people who endorse the food that we eat. All these things depend on food as an industry. And food is also something that binds us socially. When we gather around food, there's a feeling of family, there's a feeling of contentment, there's a feeling of care, right? So whenever we have food on the table, so the most common greeting among Filipinos is kain na, right? Because we don't usually tell our friends or family, how are you? We always tell, kumain ka na, have you eaten? No? And food is identity. I think as a son of Kapampangan parents, I believe that food is a very important source of identity. It defines a community, it defines a region. When we go to a place, you always buy pasalubong, right? Gifts that we bring back home to give to our friends. Just like what Dr. Conchon did. No? He gave me this yummy preserved fruit. They're green in color, but I don't know what they are. And my mother liked them. So the following day, I asked Dr. Conchon, what was that fruit, no preserved fruit that you gave me? And he couldn't recall it. So we were speculating, Jean, Joanne, and I were speculating what kind of fruit it was, no? But just the same, it's delicious, and we totally enjoyed it. And then, food is a political tool, right? So whenever we have increases in the price of rice, what happens? There are usually problems and politicians capitalize on it. Remember the elections, most of you are still young, but when there was a snap elections in 1985 or 1986, the main strategic message of Cory Aquino at the time was, nung unang panahon, ang isang kilo ng galunggong was something like 10 pesos only, and then ngayon, it was already 25 pesos. So that brought down a regime. And then who would forget the statement by Marie Antoinette about um, the people are hungry, and then she would say, give them cake, no? And it also led her to be guillotined and led to the French Revolution. So food is a very important aspect of our lives. Whether food is a source of nourishment, economic sector, social activity, or a political tool, at the end of the day, we all enjoy food. And I think that's what matters most. So I would like to thank everyone for coming here, especially the ASEAN Studies Program for organizing this activity and our speaker for today. So here's to assumption discussion to all of us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dean Prime. He said, without food, we won't be here. And I heard from Donna that she used it as a come on to invite our UPOU community in this morning's lecture series. For the sake of those who are on web stream, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Jean Saludades. I'm the program chair of the Asian Studies Graduate Program. When I invited our speaker today to be part of the Asian Studies Graduate Program some months back, her response was, "Thank you very much for inviting me to co-write and co-teach food culture of the ASEAN of UPOU with you. I am interested in this endeavor, but honestly, I am not knowledgeable of cross-cultural ASEAN food studies. I am confident about what I can contribute about Philippine food culture, but I have only started to consider ASEAN food culture seriously in terms of research. We'll be happy to exchange notes with you, however." That exchange of notes led to the lecture that we will be having today. Our speaker is Associate Professor in the Humanities of the University of the Philippines, Visayas, Tacloban College, and Director of the UP latest Samar Heritage Center. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Joyce Dorado Alegre.
Meron naman akong we are a small group. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Salamat, Dr. Jean Saludades for this invitation. Dr. Dean Primo Garcia and Professor Dr. Kunchon Jyoti, and to you all who are interested in listening to this talk and in tasting what I brought for you from Leyte. Initially, I thought of delivering my lecture in Tagalog, in Filipino. So strictly, I would speak in Filipino or Tagalog, but we have friends here who are from other countries. We have our Thai visiting professors, so I will be doing bilingual if you don't mind. I will speak in Tagalog and then move to English. I don't know Thai. I visited Thailand and enjoyed the street food. And then I will be introducing certain words which are in. Thanks to Miss Donna, who has been coordinating with me closely. The presentation that is entitled Larangan has three parts. So I will just make a breezy presentation about culture and why food as cultural domain. And then I will share with you my own experiences in eating, sharing, and thinking about food at the last portion with the baseline data from the latest summer area, which is my home base and where I grew up from age 7 later on. So I think our script will be led by the narratives of. I am not an anthropologist. I study culture from the point of view of a performing artist. So basically, I am a performing artist, but I enjoy studying culture through that lens of anthropology. And I teach literature and theater arts. So it's some kind of a dance probably now when we have this discourse of culture and then food as focus, and then we touch about rituals and probably a bit of everyday, mostly everyday life and a bit of the arts. So that will be the discourse, the world of discourse that I will be sharing with you this morning. Okay, so we will begin with this presentation. I will move here. Yeah, so Donna would see the presentation. I will begin with the definition of culture. Ano ang kultura? What is culture? Which everybody knows. Everybody knows the answer to that. And we have the generic definition, which is a way of life. In Tagalog, ano sa Tagalog yon? I will ask you to input some data and share. Ano sa Tagalog yung way of life? Aha! Napag-isipan niyo ba? Please correct my grammar. No? Pamamaraan ng ikabubuhay, ng pamumuhay. So kindly give me the proper affixation. Paraan ng buhay. Those are the basic concepts. And then, well, we have all of the anthropologists and philosophers of culture discussing, elaborating, telling us the ramifications of this concept now. Dr. Kovar, as a guru ng mga guro, on eminent Philippine anthropologist, refers to culture yung likha ng tao, whether tangible or intangible. So, pwede na siguro yon. Bahala na kayong magbasa kung ano pang sinabi nila Edward. It's a complex whole of domains, or yung mga sinabi ng American anthropologists na ito ay set rules and standards. So, I will leave that to your research. And let's have that. The first set of slides, please, Donna. Yeah, Aita of, these are Aita of Pampanga. Okay, they have their own way of life. Spread in the Visayas. Right? Of course, the most controversial issue 2-3 years back was the assassination of Dexter Conde in Boracay. He is an Aita cultural leader. Down. This is just an intro. You can just guess anong kultura sila. Ito ay ang mga Tiboli sa baba. Yun ay mga Bagobo. Kaya, okay, let's just make a rundown of Mindanao, and then the Ifugao. Mostly, well, that's all I have, I think. So it's, you get. So can you hear better now? Okay. Do I remove the label? Okay lang. All right. So I'm sorry, Dr. Kunchon, but I just use images mostly from the Philippines. Okay. So let's go down. Ang kalikasan at kasaysayan ay nagbibigay anyo sa kultura. This is a very basic concept in understanding culture. Ang kasaysayan, ang kalikasan at kasaysayan, nature, the natural environment as well as history are factors that give shape to culture. And with the intervention of man, okay, with the creativity of man, with the creative intelligence of the human species, culture is shaped, culture is formed. Okay, so let's go down. Aha, Kalinga. This is authentic photograph, which I did. I just visited Kalinga 3 weeks ago to do some documentation. Beautiful. This is a sunset, early morning. So we have mountain culture in the Philippines, which is an archipelago. We have mountainous areas, but we are set of islands, 7,107 plus, depending on the tides. Okay, so let's go down to these images. This is a stream down the Kalinga mountain, early morning also. So there's water rushing down from the mountain. And now this is what I can share with you, done by my friend. This is Samar and Leyte. That is Samar and Leyte because we are an island, a group, an aggregation of islands, so mountains, land, and seas. We have many coastal communities. And well, we have been brainwashed, so to speak, that we are divided by waters. No. Okay, our anthropologists have already established that we are connected by sea and we are a maritime culture. We do not see land separate from water. We are an island system. We are an archipelago. Pag sinabing isla, pagkapulo, may lupa yan at may tubig. Wala kang pulo kung walang tubig. No? Di naman pwede yan. Pagkapulo, may tubig yan. And life is sustained by water. So, iibahin na natin ang ating pananaw. Ang sabi ng mga antropologo, ng mga philosophers of culture ng mga Pilipino, ang pananaw na sinasabing divided by sea ay kolonyal. Hindi naman kasi our ancestors have crossed the seas. We have come, well, if we follow the Austronesian theory of the peopling of the Philippines, the theory coming from South China, going down the waters, down to Taiwan, then to the north of the Philippines, going down as far to New Zealand and back, and then go to Madagascar. So we can trace that whole route. We are a maritime culture. And even now, we cross the, San Bernardino Strait between Samar and Bicol from Manila. We do that so easily. And ancient peoples have been communicating with each other and visiting each other by way of the balangay, the boats. Until now, we are boat builders. We are great boat builders. So we are island people and we connect with each other. Tayo ay magkakaugnay, mga pinsan at magkakapatid. No? When we see the entire Philippines as an archipelago, an inter-island system. Okay? So I'm just proud to show you this. This was taken before Yolanda. This is part of Tacloban, and this is the legendary Mount Danglay of Samar. See, Samar and Leyte are, well, twin sisters, I would say. Okay, twin sisters, but mostly settlement is largely Waray in the Samar area. Okay, we'll get back to that later. Let's go down. So the Philippines is mountainous. We are not landlocked. We are land-based, but we are sea people also, especially the Bajaus, who are recent settlers from South China who have reached the Philippines about 1,000 years ago. Sila yung mga pinakabago, nakarating na Bajau, who are referred to as sea gypsies. There are two kinds, Samalaot and the Samalea, those who are boat people who live in the boats and those who have already settled on houses on stilts. Okay, this is part of later what I showed you. Okay, let's move now. I have questions. I pose questions. Ano ang mga larangan ng kultura? Kasi Ang pagkain ay sinasabi ng mga nag-aaral ng kultura na isang larangan. Ano ang mga larangan ng kultura? Domains, fields of study. From the culture studies perspective, when you say domain, of course, generally it means what? Realm, larangan o mundo. It's that world. As a field of study, as a world for knowledge, okay, for the search of knowledge, for research, for the pursuit of knowledge, larangan. Ano-ano ang mga larangan ng kultura? Okay, Dr. Kovar has delineated culture from nature, but he has also extrapolated that the Filipino, from the point of view of our own way of life, we view the world that it is animated by spirit. Okay, so spiritual, nai-spiritualize ng Pilipino ang mundo. We do not move without that sense of the spiritual. So this cuts across all of the domains. Ngunit, when we study culture and focus on a certain realm, domain, ano-ano ang mga ito. Okay, food is just one, and then we look at the others. This is also considered by Edward Tyler, the British anthropologist, when he defined culture. Okay, in terms of the manifestations or expressions of culture. We go down, please, Donna. Dwelling, bahay. This is a Kalinga. Okay, that's a Kalinga house. It's there in the Kalinga Mountains, owned by the Gawad Malilikha ng Bayan. No? Nako, bakit ba? My nerve cells. I forgot his name. Marami sila. Okay. Our Kalinga master of music. Okay. Nasa Facebook. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, they just built a Kalinga village. This is a house without metal, walang pako o lahat talaga kasya-kasya. So that's the Kalinga, traditional Kalinga house reconstructed for contemporary use. So you can visit and stay overnight. Okay, so that's in the mountain. That's a dwelling. And of course, it develops into the field of art, which is known as architecture. So we have our Kalinga house, our Bajau house, the igloo, we have brick houses, we have mud houses, different cultures, different environments, various architectural designs. So that's Kalinga. Next, please. Contemporary Kalinga house, very modern, ultra modern. It's there. I took a picture. The owner did not know. Okay, so just for you to appreciate, meron tayong traditional, and this is ultra-modern. Oh, I am privileging Dr. Kuchon. I'm speaking in English now. Sige po, tuloy-tuloy tayo. All right. Bajau houses on stilts with vintas. This is, well, taken from the internet, open domain. Okay, that's Kalinga Contemporary, you can see. And next, Sambuanga. Mode of dressing. The Ifugao. Yeah, this is Ifugao. Touristic in a way, no? Nagpo-pose silang ganun, but they do wear their traditional wear, the traditional garments, especially during special occasions. But it's already an issue for the purist anthropologists because even the Kalinga have forgotten the traditional way of dressing, certain details only. Okay, but they still do the very fabulous fabric, no, hand woven. I think you know that. Okay, let's do for their tapis. Tiboli, okay, Tiboli. They're very proud and they're most sophisticated in terms of adornment. Very colorful, fabulous, really. From their headgear, from their combs down to their anklets. Okay, one of those ethnic groups who wear heaviest adornment, 15 kilos, I think, of brass belts, and brass rings and anklets, including toe rings. Okay, and when the women walk, you know they're coming because they are tingling and tinkling. You're tingle because they tinkle. At least sa Switzerland, cows lang yun, no? When you hear the cowbells here in Tiboli, the women. Okay. And when the bells tinkle, supposedly the good spirits are invited. Okay, thank you. Tiboli of South Cotabato. Of course, our barong has been a popular interest now. So mode of dressing, because the current president is rolling his barong, and we have the opinion coming from the haute couture, no, fashionista. Okay, but definitely it has to be worn formally this way. Okay, thank you. I'm not anti-Duterte. I'm only anti-extrajudicial killing. Okay, so all right. Livelihood. Okay, livelihood, farming. Rundown na lang tayo kasi intro lang to. Baka matagal. Do I have 1 hour, Dr. Jean? Okay, farming. Let's go down. Fishing, all over. Fishing, this is the now and later. Hila lang. Okay, hinihila. Traditional forms of livelihood by fishing. Fishing technology until now. But there are destructive forms. Okay, this one, you know, very rich in very abundant waters all over the Philippines, but there are issues of dynamite fishing. So the waters teeming with life, so that even just about 3-4 meters away from the shore, we can already catch fish. Okay, we go down some more. Okay, material culture. Okay, tangible material culture, pottery of vegan. Okay, next slide, please. Mat weaving, basai, very colorful, is still in use, developing a very, very elaborate industry all over the Philippines, actually. Mat weaving, okay, from north to south. We have mat weavers who are highly skilled and also very sophisticated designs, from the checker designs to floral designs. There are already studies in mat weaving in of traditional art, traditional art, and even the contemporary designs. Okay, next please. Okay, still part of this is a basai mat, traditional but made contemporary with a flash of colors, rainbow. Okay, well, I'm proud of the basai mat weaving. They're using very organic, of course, hand-woven grass, sedge, Fimbrostilis globulosa. They are in marshy areas. They grow in rice fields, but well, they are cultivated now, but we must cultivate them more, because grass is the main material for mat weaving. We are threatened by climate change. So that's one of the challenges for our traditional artists and for those whose livelihood is based on weaving. Okay. Next slide. Utensils, material culture. These are traditional. They can still be in use. Now we are using parang rubberized. They melt when you use them for frying. But well, it would be nice to have again, in use. This is made of coconut shell and wood. So material culture, kitchen utensils, baskets. Okay. Next slide, please. What do I have here? Furniture, wonderful, antique furniture. I was marveling at the Jerry Araos furniture out there in the lobby. Oh my God, so awesome. No? Kamangha-mangha, the beauty of the wood grain, and we have plenty of that. Okay, next page, please. Yakan. Okay, rituals. It's a wedding ritual of Yakan, of the Basilan. They have this very sophisticated makeup and the whole ceremony. Many Philippine weddings, even, well, this is contemporary, okay? Contemporary Yakan, traditional rituals. Even our very own, those who are Christians and Catholics who do their weddings. Iba naman yung Catholic Mass ng non-Filipino eh. The Filipino Catholic Mass is very elaborate. Meron tayo we have this veil, candle, and cord. Yeah, that's Filipino. That's there. And then depending on which community you belong to, there are traditional practices. In some are later. You would have the elders, okay? We would have the elders blessing or giving advice to the newlyweds. That's still done until now, okay? Before they enter the reception area. Yeah, that's still done. And then during the reception, there is a wedding dance. This is also done in the Ilocos. Many parts of the country, the dance where you pin bills, the relatives of the bride would pin bills on the garment of the groom, and then the groom's relatives or friends would pin bills. That's a show of support, and they dance their way for their first days in life. They have this expression of support or acceptance. At saka halaka ha, may pera kami. We have resource and well, you better do well with this initial funds. Okay, so there we go down. So weddings, rituals, this is, yeah, you can very well guess, All Souls Day in the Philippines. Not undas ba yun? Undas, tama. Undas, we know that. No, All Souls Day, All Saints Day in the Catholic calendar sa atin, isa lang yan. Undas, pista ng mga patay, pista ng mga espiritu. And that's 4 days actually, including departures and arrivals. Okay, or you can extend. Then you tell your boss, I'm sick. Okay, next page. So we have food offerings, no food offerings in the cemetery, in graveyards, and there's all night sharing of stories. This is, yeah, in the Philippines, you set up tents, it's a garden, it's a celebratory All Souls Day. We remember our dead, our beloved departed, then we update each other. So yeah, it's very festive, similar to Mexico, Day of the Dead. Very elaborate also, very festive. So ayan ang mga larangan ng kultura. No, larangan ng kultura. I think I still have another, maybe 2 more slides. Yeah, this is Ifugao, where you have the dead. There are chanting, okay? Underneath this traditional, not traditional Ifugao practice, underneath the house for days, and until it is buried, the corpse is buried. I do not know the details, not just in the general sense. Okay, so look at the juxtaposition. Ganon din, elaborate rituals for the dead. So rituals, dances, music, songs, that's intangible. In heritage studies now, UNESCO has defined the study of heritage, which is of course primarily cultural resource, in terms of 2 dimensions, intangible and tangible. Tangible is material, like you can have houses. And then intangible, we have literary expressions which are not written, oral literature, singing, songs, rituals, chanting. We have the epic chanting, epic chant, Hud in the Cordillera, which has been declared as intangible, UNESCO intangible heritage. No? It's a treasure. Okay. So yun po ang mga larangan ng kultura. Then what's our next? Okay. This is Ambahan of Mindoro. Okay, Ambahan, literary. It's a literary form inscribed on bamboo. Nakasulat sa baybayin. It's in traditional form. Baybayin. We have Gawad Manlilika ng Bayan for that Mangyan of Mindoro. Okay, next, please. So literary expressions language. Here we have an ambahan with a translation there. I won't read na. That's in the internet. You can just check. Okay, it's a poem. Okay, next, please. Lang Dulay, she recently passed away. Is our Gawad Manlilika ng Bayan for tinalak weaving, traditional abaca textile of the Tiboli of Lake Cebu, South Cotabato. And she has passed on the tradition. She had apprentices. They do weaving now, very, very enterprising Tibolis. Okay, next page, please. That is the tinalak of Tiboli. And next page. Yeah, that is she. She is honored. I think it's her birthday 2 days ago. And next page, please. Samaon Sulaiman also passed away about 3 years ago. Gawad Manlilika ng Bayan, Kudyapi Master of Mindanao. I'm not sure, is he Maranao or Maguindanao? Okay, so all other art forms, paintings, sculptures, so you know that. My third question, just to understand better our topic for today. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng pagkain bilang larangan ng kultura? Okay. If we study or we look at food as a cultural domain, can we see the slides? Ayan. What do you see? Yes. Dean Garcia would know that picture on the left. Yes, Biringe, Bringe of Pampanga. What about the one on the right? Yes. Ano ba yan? Menudo. Kasi ang daming sangkap na makulay. Ano po ito? Yes, paella. So I juxtapose bringhe and paella. I'll tell you why later on, okay? So kanin din. This is also rice. Arroz a Valenciana when introduced to the Philippines by the Spaniards. And the Kapampangan, the Tagalog, have the biringe. Okay, similar. Similar. Nilagyan ng gata. Yun ang pagkakaiba. Nilagyan ng gata. Parang suman. Yung arroz a la Valenciana, which is originally Spanish. Valencia. No, from Valencia. So, okay, next page. Aha, oh, sige. Tell the difference which is your longganisa. Ha? Ano yung sa kanan? Yes! Lukban. Confession kayo ba? Right. Oh, isang tingin malalaman yung lukban. Bakit kaya? What's the one on the left? German sausage. Yes. See, yeah. Bakit alam ninyo? May pagkakaiba pero magkakatulad. May pagkakamuka. Okay, next page. Interactive. Okay, what about this? Kare-kare. Okay. One on the left is kare-kare. This is Indian curry. Okay. Okay. Next page, please. Leche flan. Yes, our favorite, childhood favorite. What about the one on the right? Crème brûlée. En français, mademoiselle, madame, oui. Custard. Diba? Magkaiba sila pero magkakatulad. Paano yun? Okay. Pinag-aaralan natin ang pagkain bilang cultural domain. Why? Okay. Our pioneers in food studies, Edilberto Alegre, with the Dean of Food Studies, known to be the late Doreen Fernandez, and her partner in one book, Sarap, which was a seminal book on Philippine food, have very well in their writings extrapolated actually, but they would want us to look further about food as a cultural artifact. That's a primary concept. What does it mean? When you study food, it is not only for nourishment or sustenance. When we study food as a cultural artifact, it will reflect our cultural sensibility, in the words of Ed Alegre. Okay? Why not food, says Doreen Fernandez? Because, sinabi na yun ni Dean Garcia, it is mundane, it is quotidian, it is so available. It is so available, it is readily available. It is there. And then I'll share with you later, ano pa yon, nandoon sa concept na yun. So food reflects culture. Artifact sa anthropology is something that you will study, you put there. So medyo problematic pa yung sabing artifact, like it's physically solid and you study there. But food you take in, you ingest. There is a Japanese scholar who says that you ingest food from outside and then inside. This was mentioned by Doreen and Ed, that it is something that you ingest inside you and it becomes part of you. So food is you. It will reflect our sensibility. All the processes involved in food. Okay, so yun pag-aralan natin because it will reflect ourselves. So when we go to Thailand, kaagad malalaman natin iba yung lasa. May katulad, may noodles din sila, pad thai. They have a lot of mango sprouts using, pero teka, iba ito sa ating pansit, Tapos iba rin yung noodles ng China, Szechuan. Ngayon meron naman tayong spaghetti, saan galing yun? So noodles. So yan, pwede nating sundan, yung sinasabing sundan natin yung kasaysayan in a diachronic way in semiotic studies, if not study it here and now and look at its elements and qualities, the synchronic study in the world of semiotics as a symbol. Sabi ni, sino ba yun? Barth. Sino ba yung mga semiotic philosophers hanggang naging postmodern ek-ek. Okay, all right, let's go down. Pero pag-aralan natin, sabi yung Dr. Ver, nako, hayaan mo na muna yung mga postmodern ek-ek. Ano tayo? Sino tayo? Ano ang pagkain natin? So, ano-ano yung mga pag-aaral na may kinalaman sa pagkain, okay? Nutrition studies would look at the health benefits, the condiments, the ingredients, what's the effect, ano yung chemical elements nito, and then what happens to that in relation to the body, and how is the body nourished, and we are able to sustain our lives, okay? Next, please, next page. So health and nutrition, home economics, which is my mother's degree, no? Home economics, agriculture, at least culture, agri, nako, Los Baños yan, fishing, biology, so culinary arts. We have already figured, Margarita Flores, chef, Filipino chef, has been figured as one of the best in Asia. Yeah, Michelin stars ba siya? She just was awarded recently by a very prestigious body, Margarita Flores, and we have been hosting the Madrid Fusion, thanks to the Department of Tourism, successfully. Second year, I think, was this year, yeah, Madrid Fusion, where we have the top chefs from Spain coming in, and then we have an exchange of ideas, exchange of knowledge about food between the Philippines and Spain, and how the convergences and fusions, okay, have developed, and more is being discovered every year, actually. No, the best of Spain were here. I miss them, 2 years now. Okay. Anthropology, no, we are part of that discourse now in cultural studies. Thank you. Next question, bakit kailangan pag-aralan at o suriin ang pagkain bilang larangan ng kultura? Why must we? Why should we? And why do we do that now? No? To study and investigate, analyze food bilang larangan ng kultura. Ito, ako lang nag-isip nun. Hindi na si Doreen nor Ed Alegre. My husband, by the way, my late husband. Actually, this is my first time to share my own ideas to a group formally, thanks to Dr. Jean. I've just been giving lectures in my classes and plenty in conversations. Yeah, so thanks to Dr. Jean. I was challenged. I recently edited, actually, a book putting together food articles of Doreen Fernandez, Ed Alegre, and many other food writers, including Mickey Phoenix, Felice, Prudente Santa Maria, and the young writers, young food critics and food writers and chefs. And I will share my thoughts with you about that. Pero sabi ko nga, why should we study food? Kain tayo ng kain, masarap. Why did you ever think? Dapat pag-usapan ba at pag-isipan yung basta pag-upo natin, kain, all that we say is ang sarap. O wala ka nang masabi, na lang, di ba? You can't say, you won't say anything because it's so good. So you're speechless, just eat, and you forget time, and you enjoy the conversation and the company. So why must we study food? So one of the thoughts in my mind is, okay, along the line of what the early food thinkers have said. Because it's us. Okay, that's food as culture. It's us. And we study food, we understand ourselves better. Why do we eat this? Why do we taste this? Okay, the Filipino chefs have put up a recent Culinaria, and they have defined the qualities of Philippine taste. And they say what is common is that we love what is sour. Doreen Fernandez wrote an article, Why Sinigang? And she pointed out that every subculture, every community in the Philippines has a different ingredient flavoring for sinigang. Ano ang pampaasim ng mga taga Los Baños para sa sinigang? Nor, nako, daya. You are cheating. Unfortunately. Saan ka? Oh, okay, Nor, what flavor? Sampalok. Opo, may mangga. Pero ngayon may na mangga. Eh kasi po, yes, we use mangga. Bayabas, exactly. Santol, yeah. Kamyas, yes. Ayan. Depende kung ano ang kinalakhan ninyo, yun ang asim na gusto ninyo. Ang pinakamaasim po, nako, my mother would use kamyas. Yeah. And then my friend, I saw him taga Bulacan. One bowl of sampalok of tamarind, boiled and crushed, pipigain, squeezed out. Oh my God. Yun ang pinakamaasim. So in a range of the sour taste, that's the sourest. A bowl of tamarind squeezed out, boiled and squeezed out. And the warais will never have a taste of that. Because the waray taste, according to Ed Alegre, may he rest in peace. So pass it around and we slice it. Yeah. Doon magkukusinan muna tayo sandali. So yeah, the hall has become a little kitchen in this corner. Okay, so please pass. Yeah, plenty here and you can have that as souvenir or try it for your sinigang. Okay, there. But one, yan po, hindi masyadong maasim ang panasim ng waray. They will never have a taste of maybe take a spoon or a teaspoon of the Bulacan sampalok, but not a bowl, a whole bowl. Hindi kakainin ng waray yan. Masyadong sa range ng asim na sa dulo. Hindi naman, mas less mild daw sa waray ang badyaw, according to Ed Alegre. Oo. Ang waray siguro mga next degree. Ganon. But I discovered recently, the kalinga has also mild taste. But there is something more to the kalinga. Now recently, kasi I went up in the Cordillera 3 weeks ago, yung kanilang sabaw doon na, sinigang. I had sinigang. Ang pagkakaiba ay meron silang sili. Okay, peppers that you can dip on. So you have a zing. Oh, that is exciting. Siguro kailangan yan pag nasa bundok ka at maginaw. Zing. Okay? No, zing. Sa Waray is very humid sa Leyte and Samar. So baka may relationship. Ed mentioned in one of his articles, Chuck, ayan na, we're in the kitchen. Matigas nga, dapat ata may chopping board. Yeah, dapat may chopping board. Matigas. Kailangan po pag ini-slice yan, may karate chop. Yeah. Chop. Yeah. May technique, opo, matigas ho kasi, But then it will soften when boiled. There are seeds inside and it is fibrous. It's pinkish inside. Okay? So there, yun. Can we go back to the... maybe later, no? Let's go on. Maybe I'll go back to that later when we talk of the theories. So sila po ang mga nanguna sa food studies. Okay, Doreen and Ed. This is their book, which is now out of print. I have my last copy. Some were given away. Okay, we can pass this around. This is still available in Amazon, I think. Sarap, okay? The tandem of Ed and Doreen that was published by Mr. and Miss Publication, late 1980. 80s. Now, I received this in 1991, 1990. So mga late 80s po yan. May mga libraries meron po yan. So sila po ang mga nanguna, Doreen Fernandez, then Ed Alegre. Okay, Doreen had her last book, Palayok, which was published by Bookmark, 1999. 1999, yeah, before she passed away. All right. Palayok, that's still available. Sometimes I see that, but it's rare, no? Rare and out of print. Okay, then let's move on to the next. These are the pictures in Sarap, Doreen and Ed. They were best friends. And the next page, please. Yeah, that's the book. And they also wrote Lasa, reviews of restaurants and eating areas, including karinderya, street food somewhere. Next slide, Donna, please. Lasa, yeah, series. This was a series of 3. And now we have very popularly Namnam by Claude Tayag and Mary Kiok. Parang after Ed did this, now there is a book on reviewing the various eating places all over the Philippines. Okay, next. Kinilaw is a classic. Kinilaw is a classic. This book really put our Philippine food in the world map. Okay, Kinilaw. And this is referred to, if it is written Kinilaw, they would always say, like ceviche. Brazil ba yung ceviche? No, Kinilaw. Kinilaw. It's also national, no? Kinilaw. Ano yung kinilaw ninyo dito? Suka lang? Suka? Suka lang po. May kalamansi. Ganon din sa amin. Meron ding gata. Nagagata din po kayo. Okay, the Warais love it with the gata. No, especially with yung kakang gata. Ganon. So iba-iba po. In this book, it's very well described, the various kinilaw all over the Philippines and the wonders of the kinilaw taste. No, Philippine cuisine of freshness. And next page. Okay, and many others. No, Feliz Prudenta Santa Maria has written the Governor General's Kitchen, very comprehensive, historical, and very, very interesting, insightful book about the Spanish influence. Although it was Doreen who defined the Spanish legacy in Philippine food, the influence of Spanish culture in Philippine food. It's in Sarap, her first article on that. Then Feliz has an entire book. Mickey Phoenix did country cooking, regional food, and Margot. This is Margot, not Marco, no? It should be Margot Salcedo. She does food reviews with which magazine? Sunday Inquirer ba yan? Yeah, yeah. I read her. Elmer Nochesada, based in Pateros. He is a winner in the Savor the Word. He wrote there, a winner in the Doreen Gamboa Fernandez competition for food writing. The Claude Tayag I mentioned earlier and many others. And the chefs now are also writing. Now Nora Daza has written her memoir included. And also, there's a group of them. Yeah, I think I brought a copy of Culinaria, a group of the finest chefs, so some of the finest chefs in the Philippines, and they group together, they pooled themselves to discuss their concepts of cooking. Here is, I think it is edited by Miguel Phoenix, beautiful. And you know, food photography is an art. This is done by Neil Oshima, Japanese parentage. But we have photographers who are doing that. In late summer, we have wonderful food photographers. So photographers getting into food, food photography, food styling for photography. Okay, next page, please. Ano ang mga konsepto? Okay, here. Yung mga napag-aralan, naumpisahan na ipa-propound, which were already projected, propounded initially, and we are challenged to propound on more, study more. Ano po ito? These are what I came up with. Okay, I think I have 4 here. Let's have those concepts. Ito na, we are already in it. No? Food as cultural artifact. It reflects our sensibility as a people. food, ito sa akin po ito. This is my concept. Okay, actually, I just articulated what they have already started talking about. No? That has already been laid down in food discourse. Food as phenomefact. When we looked at food as phenomenon in space and in time, that involves processes. So from preparation, from harvest, for example, from gathering to preparing for the cooking. Though we have social exchanges, is a social event where people communicate, especially in the Philippines, it's a communal activity. If we prepare suman, ako hindi kaya ng isang tao lang yan. You prepare suman, 1 kilo, how many do you make? Ako marami, sayang naman. No? So 1 kilo would make how many pieces? 24. Hindi mauubos ng isang tao yan. Kahit paghanda, no? Because of the folding of, you gather the banana leaves, there is a process for preparing the banana leaves so that they will be clean and smooth. So it's an event, it is a process, including the food serving and the eating. No? Ed discussed the language of food, no? From the preparation to the social processes. Doreen also has done that, especially when she wrote about fiestas, okay, and rituals. So food is an event, it is a process, it is communication. Yung sinabi ni Dean Garcia kanina, very appetizing yung speech ni Dean kanina. Thank you, Dr. Garcia. No? Na kumain ka na ba? O, nakakain. Kahit na masama ang loob mo, pag tinanong ka, wala lahat na ko. Di ba? Pag may anak kang dapat pagalitan, natatakot ng uuwi. No? Your son comes home, he's late because there is now a curfew. Otherwise, mapagkamalan ka at matamaan ng bala. O, ganun. So, come home, son. And he comes home. The first thing that a mother would ask, as I do, kumain ka na ba? Saan ka kumain? Have you eaten? Where did you eat? What did you eat? Ako, naiinis na yung mga teenagers ang katatanong. But well, yes. But it is a way of expressing our love. Okay, our caring, our nurturing, right? So there, food as communication. It is symbolic when served, when cooked, when prepared. Pag nagtampo, lutuan mo na lang. So if he feels or she feels slighted, okay, prepare something. Or pasalubong, yan, pasalubong. No, Ed says, ang pasalubong daw is, of course, there are many ways of interpreting pasalubong. It is so open, no? Because we know our culture. If you give a pasalubong, the person who receives that will feel so good, kahit lipstick lang, 99 cents or 3 for 99, okay? Or something that you get from duty free. Okay na yan. Kasi naalala ka. At saka it's as if you were also part of the trip. And along the trip, naaalala ka. So may ugnayan. There is a connection. No, yun yung ating pakikipagkapwa. It is an expression of caring. It's an expression of the person who traveled, who left and returned and had something for you. So there is now a bond. It's bonding. Okay? So that, communication. Now, Dr. Kovar, this is a CO. I'm sorry. This is a CO. CO. Particular mix, sabi niya. It's a particular mix. Yung timpla that will reflect the sensibility. Where the Italians or the Mediterranean do the sauté. When we sauté Mediterranean style, okay? Pagka nagigisa po, what are the ingredients when we sauté Philippine style? Gisa, garlic, onions, tomatoes. Then we have a little oil. Okay. But the Holy Trinity of Giza. Yes, exactly. The Holy Trinity of Giza. Garlic, onions, tomatoes. Ganon din naman sila eh. Okay, pero sa kanila, sabay-sabay. They saute all together. Okay? Dr. Kovar says, Doreen also, I think, but the concept particular mix, that's Dr. Kovar's. Doreen described na, and even also Ed, na point by point in time. What is the first spice? Garlic. Babantayan mo, baka mamaya masunog, di ba? Pakiramdaman mo siya. Okay, and then, buhos yung sibuyas. Titingnan mo din, baka sunog na rin, o puputi mo na, right? It will whiten, it becomes opaque or translucent? Translucent from opaque to translucent, and then the onions, the tomatoes, kamatis na po, hindi po ba? Mediterranean style, sabay-sabay. Sabay-sabay po yan. Siyempre kamatis, the tomatoes are different from ours. No? Reddish, sour. Sa atin talagang pang tinola. Yung pangsigang, no? Pangsigang. So there, sabay-sabay. So there is a punto, there is a point, and it's usually a pulse, a feeling. Yun ang hindi mahuli sa recipe. Kailan mo ilalagay? Ewan, pakiramdaman mo na lang o tingnan mo siya. Okay? So there, so one, and there is a rhythm to that. Garlic. Hindi ka pwede mag-isa na iiwanan mo. You cannot saute Philippine style and then leave it there. No, you're not baking, you're sauteing. And Filipino, pakiramdam yan, babantayan yan. Kung hindi, nako, wala na, sunog na. Okay, so particular mix, not only the kind of ingredients or flavorings, but and how much of that and this, but also the process, okay? And you consider space and time and the relationships of all of those ingredients or all of those elements. Okay? Come to think of it, it's not that easy. No? Yung Filipino medyo complicated. Okay? It's not that easy. But it's a whole, it's a gestalt. Alam natin yon, we know that. Okay. Now, here, this has become very, very widespread, the theory of indigenization of Philippine food. Okay? We'll be ready with yung internet material. Donna, please, but we're ready. Okay, theory of indigenization. According to Doreen, okay, she was studying the influence of Spanish food in the Philippines. Like if we have paella, it was taken by the Pampangueños as bringhe. Anong nangyari? What happened? They added coconut milk. And when I was studying the recipe of bringhe for this recent book by the NCCA, Lutong Especial, oh, what is it? No? It's the coconut, and then the way that it is prepared ay parang treated as suman. We treat the paella like we are preparing suman. We can validate that. No? So, tingin ko, parang ginawang suman. Why? Because there is a given. In the cultural matrix of the Filipino, we already have the suman tradition. Once introduced, and here is a familiar ingredient, rice, arroz a la valenciana. Okay? Suman yan eh. Halina, gawin na natin to. Malaking suman to. Ilagay mo sa bilao. Bring here. O biko yan eh. Parang biko. Dagdagan mo na lang nitong mga seafood o itong karne. Wala naman tayong rabbit. Originally, rabbit yan. It's a farm food. Okay? Hindi naman tayo kumakain ng rabbit. Palaka, kumakain tayo. No? So, pwede tayong makipag-usapan ng frog food with the French. Okay? I had a very good experience, taste of French frogs, but I love the Philippine frogs more. Like Jerry Arao's froggy there. Anyway, so, all right. So there, binago. So yun, no? So then Ed naman, actually I traced, kasi sinulat ni Doreen, theory of indigenization, the Spanish legacy. And then Ed has theory of indigenization in the linguistic perspective. He wrote a seminal theory on that, which appeared in the Diliman article. Then Doreen also discussed it. So there is an interaction between the two best friends. And then I came across Dr. Cobar. I asked him, Sir, saan po galing to? Kay Doreen o kay Ed? Tatlo kaming nag-uusap-usap niyan, he said. So there were three of them who discussed, who talked about food, studying food, Philippine food, and came up with this theory of indigenization. Ed had the whole matrix, okay, from what he defined as the original, what is there, what is the given, indigenous, yung Philippine, yung katutubo. Then we have the influence that comes in, but the Filipino, the Kapampangan in this case of the Arroz Valenciana, turned into bringhe, transformed it. There is an alteration. This is the introduction of the coconut milk, treated like a biko or treated like the suman. So it becomes different. It's no longer, Dr. Garcia said, that's bringhe. He did not say paella. No? Eh, Pilipino siya, Kapampangan siya. No? So, bring her there na bago. Okay? It was altered and claimed. That's the point of Ed Alegre naman. Altered and claimed and made our own, that is no longer foreign. There is the indigenous, there is the foreign introduction, the influence, but worked on, treated, gobbled up, and became ours. Okay? Indigenized. If it retains its original, if you cook your, what did I cook recently? Fish, your sole, which is called, in French, sole, meunière. Okay? Sole sa American English, sole. Parang sole ng paa. No? Sa Waray, ang tingin namin dyan, hindi paa, kundi palad. Kaya ang tingin namin dun sa sole, palad. Kasi two sides siya, white and then dark the other side. So palad. If you cook sole, it became very popular, this sole meunière, because of the movie Julia Child, American, who learned French cooking and introduced French cooking in the US. Okay, so Julia Child was so impressed of the French sole meunière. Eh sa amin palad yan, pinapaksiw namin yan eh. Oo. Okay, Mediterranean style. Okay, sige, ganyanin mo yan. No? Paano mo lulutuin yan? Sole meunière, okay? But if you do it Philippine way, magbabago yan. Okay? Eh, pinapaksiw sa amin yan. Lagyan mo na lang ng kamatis. Okay? So, ganon. No? So, pwedeng i-claim. No? It becomes yours. Kasi we are altering to satisfy our own taste. What we prefer it to be. Okay? Siguro, pag gagawin nyo yung paksiw, mas maasim kesa doon sa Waray. Okay? It will be different in taste, because it will adjust. The food will be adjusted to the taste. And that's why we have sausawan, okay? Which has been defined as, Durin articulated that, and then that was written about by Mickey Phoenix also. And it is a quality of Philippine food, Philippine taste. It is very democratic. There is a given recipe. When served, then it depends what sausawan, what dips will you use. The Visayans would have, even just for fried fish, for the pritong, is that would have toyo at suka. Okay? My cousins here in Metro Manila, patis. Okay? Ano pa? The Cebuanos would have in their vinegar pepper. See, nag-change. The sausawan is very liberal. There is a given meal, probably collectively the same when prepared. Collective taste would be the same, but there will be degradations, variations depending on individual taste. So it is democratic that way. Okay, that's how sausawan. So let's go back to indigenization of Philippine food. So maganda ito kasi yun na yung assertion, okay, of our culture, our taste. And the most interesting example written by Ed, no, in his essays, one of his essays was the Pakbet Trail. We have the Pakbet. Meron pong Ilocano dito. Ilocano. Meron pong Ilocano dito. Sino po? Paano? Ma'am? Half Ilocano. How do you prepare your pakbet? We go to the first, yeah. Is this Ilocano? Is this Ilocano? So in this array of our pinakbet ingredients and pinakbet dishes, which one would you say as Ilocano? Pakbet, pinakbet? Wala po dyan. Walang kalabasa, exactly. So ang Ilocano, wow, right. Okay, walang kalabasa. So madali kasi ang kulay niya, dito masasabi Ilocano to. Green, more green. Yan, Ilocano, pakbet. Ito, Ilocano. Meron pa tayong ibang array, yung may kalabasa. Ito, ano to? Ayan, may bulaklak ng kalabasa pa. I saw this in Victoria, Tarlac. Mga bulaklak ng kalabasa. So, original, authentic Ilocano. Okay, my husband was half Ilocano. So he defined it very well. His lola from La Union, Tarlac would have Ilocano-style pakbet, which would have the basic ingredients, yung ampalaya na maliliit. We don't have that in Leyte. Maliliit na ampalaya na napakapait. Maliliit din na talong, opo. Ngayon, meron siyang, ano yung halo? Ay yung kanyang sauce ay bagoong na isda. Yung ibang ingredients, may string beans. Yes. May kamatis? Kahit wala. Ano po ang spice? Walang spice? Luya. Opo, luya. So Ed prepared it with luya and onion. So basic, yun lang daw pwede na yun. At ilalagay sa palayok. Yung bagoong na ginagamit, hindi tama. Opo, yes ma'am. Opo, hindi hinahalo. Hindi hinahalo. Para siyang, steamed. Steamed. Okay? Yung sabaw niya ay nanggagaling sa bagoong na kinukuso. At yun yung kanyang sauce. Yung fish sauce. Yun. And squeeze it into the vegetable mix. Cover the pot. And then just turn it over quickly. You don't mix. And so it's not lata. It's not overcooked. Yun babantayan. You have to watch. Oh my, that is Ilocano. Hindi kakainin ng mga warayan. Hindi po. Pagdating sa yung Ilocano pakbet, ito na yung pakbet trail, the journey of pakbet. Pagdating po sa Kapampangan, anong ginawa ninyo? Kalabasa. Opo, naging alamang, shrimp paste, and instead of bagoong. Ginisa sa kamatis, opo. Ayun, my pork, Kapampangan, carnivorous people, cholesterol. Ang galing-galing nila, no? Langgunisa, and tocino, oh, my son loves that. Okay, all right. There, nagbago, nag-adjust yung mga Kapampangan. Binigyan nila ng kulay. May kulay na, kalabasa. Ginisa. Nagkaroon na ngayon ng gisa. Parang Spanish style. Gisa. Gisar is Spanish. Sauté, French. Okay? So gisa, ginawang Pilipino. Gisa. Ginisa. Pagdating sa Bicol, anong gagawin ng mga Bicolano? May gata. May taga Bicol ba dito? Opo. Ano po ang lasa ng inyong, ano po ingredients ng Bicol? And sili, ayun. So sa Bicol, pag namalengke kayo, mga bila-bilao ng sili, hindi po ba? Right. So sa range ng spice, in the Philippine taste, nasa dulo ang Bicol at saka Maranao when it comes to spices. Okay, so pagdating ng pakbet sa Bicol, pinakbet style Bicolano, may gata na yan. Ang sarap din. Natikman ko po. Yan, pagdating sa Tacloban, nawawala yung ampalaya. Ini-slice ang nipis-nipis. Mamaya wala na. My husband would not eat that. Sabi niya, hindi pakbet yan. Ginisang kalabasa lang yan na may konting string beans. Ayaw kasi ng mga waray ang extreme taste. Yon, ayaw ng mapait. Okay, so nawawala. Ako naman nasanay na rin ng pait-pait. Dahil I live with my cousins na yung father nila, Ilocano. Kaya ayan, nasanay akong doon sa pait. Ay hinahanap po talagang huhukay ka ng kalabasa bago ka. You will have to dig through the squash before you will find these little splinters of ampalaya. There, that's indigenization. Nasusundan nyo na po. No? So, hindi na siya Ilocano. Kaya nga hindi na kinakain ni Ed yung aming waray-waray. So, ginisang gulay na yon. It's no longer. So there, the theory of indigenization. Durinas transculturation from Rafael Bernal's thesis, okay, of 1965. But Ed would push that to indigenization and then claiming it and then assert what is Filipino. He calls that gobbling up what is ours and then spew out what's not ours, what doesn't suit our taste. Medyo radical ba yun? O medyo matapang masyado. No? Gobble up, spew up. Warrior style. Baka kailangan natin yon. Anyway, so there. Right? So yun po yung mga mahalaga na konsepto. So can we flash that slide again, Donna, please? So there, yung 1, 2, 3, 4 concepts of in food, Philippine food study. Or at least just understand that. I can share the PowerPoint with the office of Dr. Saludades. Yeah, okay. So pwede na po 'yon. Hanggang doon na lang muna no yung theory part. Okay. All right. What's our next? Okay. So paano? How did they come to that? The elders, okay? Now magkasama na sila sa langit, no? Both Ed and Doreen have passed away, and many nag-bear fruit na, namunga na yung mga ginawa nila. So yung mga pagsusuri na ginawa nila, the investigations that they have initiated would flourish, no? But let's trace what they did. So I will re-articulate. Sa pagsusuri sa pagkain bilang larangan ng kultura ay ganun din sa pagsusuri ng pag-aaral ng kultura is how to locate ourselves in the study, in studying, or even just in appreciating. No? Magsimula sa sariling buhay. Begin with your own life, with your own taste, with your own environment, where you grew up. Culture is space-bound and time-bound. Kung nasaan ka at a significant, crucial moment of your growth, no? Ano ba, first 10 years of your life, the taste that you acquired, that's your basic taste. Ed said that, but I don't know where he got that. No, maybe we have to trace the literature. Or maybe now studies have changed. Pero yun, the formation of taste begins from childhood at a certain time. So kung nasaan ka, environment is there. We have malunggay, moringa, everywhere. The Ilocanos would saute the moringa fruit. I have tasted that in my cousin's home when I studied in Diliman and I lived with them. So I know how to saute, and the process of and it's very meticulous when you have to remove the core, right? Kasi parang beans yan, it's very long, no? The moringa fruit. And then it is sauteed. Even just that, it's so good, no? And nutritious, of course. Now you have, well, moringa is commercialized as medicine for its medicinal value and nutritious value. Sa Waray, where I live, where I grew up, the moringa fruits, they just dry up and drop dead, dried on the floor. Nobody cares. Bakit kaya? Yeah, yun yung cultural given. Even if it's available, you have been prefigured by your culture. Ganun na kayo, hindi kumakain ng mga waray. So, walang kumakain ng moringa fruit in my neighborhood. Yeah, I would collect them because I know I save for them. So, none, the waray would not eat that. Hindi kilala. Okay? Or the ubad ng saging, the core of the trunk of the banana. Okay, the warays do not eat that. The Ilonggos, it's a delicacy. It is boiled with coconut milk. That will be dismissed by the Waray. Cultural givens, okay, even if it's available, but the culture is already defined. So exposure would change that, and openness would change that, okay? So what is your gauge? Your gauge is your own taste. Okay, your own taste. Kung anong panlasa mo, yun yung basehan mo. Okay? Kung sanay ka sa asim, Bulakenyo ka, yun ang basehan mo. Ilocano ka, mahilig ka sa pait, yun ang basehan mo. So begin with that. That's your gauge. And all the rest will follow. And what's our next slide? Okay, ito, knowledge that kanin at ulam is a dyad. Dyad, kanin at ulam. We don't eat kanin-kanin lang, otherwise gulay lang yan. O dildilan mo ng asin, magdidildil ng asin. So that's extreme poverty in the Philippines. Okay, so kanin, may ulam yan. Anong ulam niya? Asin, kawawa naman. Kaya I grew up with my mother teaching us to enjoy eating, especially during the storm, rice with the fat, yung adobo, the sauce, and you allow it to just solidify. And when the rice is so hot and you have that as melting on your, naku, natuto si alam ata ang sarap na yun ni Dean Garcia. Naku, ang sarap-sarap po nyo. No? With the toyo of the adobo, then it's melting on a hot, hot mound of rice. Right? Oh my God. So, kanin at ulam, rice and viand, magkasama yan. No? That's already well defined about rice as the ground and then the variations of taste given by the viand. And viands vary between your water environment, fish, seafood, or pork. What are your protein sources? And then may gulay. Okay? Ang waray, sura, iba yan. Kanon, nganhin, sura. Gulay, separate unit na yan. So, ang basic unit kasama. But I understand sa Tagalog ba, hanggang tama ba? Please correct me if I'm not accurate. But yeah, marami kasing Tagalog areas. So, pag sinabing kanin at ulam, pwede kasing ulamin ng mangga eh. Diba? So, pwede fruit, sa waray hindi. Wala, sura, sura. Pagka sura, either fish, sura, from the word suda, isda yun eh. Coastal ang pinanggalingan, no? Linguistically. No? So basically, it's coastal. Pag sinabing sura, the term sura is really protein-based. Pero ulam, hindi ko na alam no? Saan ang gagaling yung ulam. So ulam pwede fruit, pwede vegetable. Pwede mong ulamin ang saging, ang fruit. Okay? So it's the basic Filipino meal unit. Okay? And Ed has theories about that, about being connected, palaging magkasama. Hindi nag-iisa nga daw ang Pilipino. Palaging may kasama. Okay? All right, next. So, from the basic Filipino meal, so from Waray area kasi separate ang gulay. So, magdagdag ka ng gulay. Okay? O ang ulam mo pwede gulay. All right? Sausawan. Ayan. We have many kinds of sausawan. I will flash that later. And then we have matamis o panghimagas. Wala tayong concept ng dessert. Bago na lang yung concept ng dessert kasi meron tayong mga hindi naman siya dessert pero pwede mong gawing merienda. Pwede ring pantawid gutom. Yun. Meron tayong pantawid gutom. Kaya sa Pilipinas, palagi tayong kumakain. Palagi tayong may pantawid gutom, kahit mani man lang dyan. No? So, palagi. So, merienda is Spanish or American, yung snacks is snack. Anong snack nyo? Okay? Refreshments. Pantawid gutom, lahat yan. No? Minindal. And then here, pulutan. Pulutan. Pulot in small picks. No? Yung mga sa kulinarya, sabi nila appetizers, it's not just appetizer. Pulutan is food. You pick in small bits and pieces. You eat bit by bit and it goes with drink. With inuman. Okay, inuman, pulutan. Oh, we have very adventurous Philippine. Ed has a book on that, Inumang Pinoy. We're very adventurous. Okay? We don't have just barbecue pork or chicken or we have sawa. Di ba? Meron tayong sawa. Ano pang mga kuli sa bayawak. Opo. So, very adventurous. We have that in Angono. Angono, Balaw-Balaw restaurant of the late Perdigon, run now by his wife. Oh my, yeah, that was featured by Anthony Bourdain. And who is this Bizarre Food? Bizarre, yung isang program. Andrew Zimmerman, yes, Andrew Zimmerman. So that was already featured. Okay, bizarre from their point of view. Huh? But for those in Angono, that's well. Yeah. Usual, ordinary, but probably becoming rare now. Okay. All right. There we have gulay from the sea. You can guess what it is. Lato, seaweeds. Ilocos has plenty of seaweeds. And fern, pako. Yeah, wala na raw po dito. Where is the pako coming from here? Oh, there is in Laguna. Yeah, Laguna. Pako, we have that. Yeah, and prepared ensalada. No? Kinilaw lang yan. Ensalada, pako. We mix that with coconut milk, otherwise just calamansi. Yeah, so similar. Okay, next, so gulay and the vinegar, iba-ibang klaseng vinegar. We have coconut vinegar, sukang Iloko, yes. Suoy sa amin yan. Iba-ibang vinegar. Ngayon, meron ng mga bagong vinegars coming from not only coconut, no? Sugarcane? Yeah, sugarcane, opo, tubo. All right. And the various condiments, no? Balaw-balaw, ibang sausawan, kalamansi, ayun ang balaw-balaw, hindi masyadong clear ito. Opo, buro o balaw-balaw. Ito ang kalamansi. This is anong herb? Some herb. Okay, kamatis. So yan po, ang dami-dami natin. Iba-ibang klaseng bagoong, mga sausawan. Okay? And what's next? Our minindal o matamis. This is buko with fruit. Very interesting buko salad. No? Depende kung anong ihahalo ninyo. So buko salad. So there. Okay. Oh. This is also pantawid gutom. It is suman latik. Suman latik, this is the snack I had yesterday before I flew. Okay, it's called suman latik. Ang maganda po dito, ano po, ang latik niya, yung gata din, pero kalamay ang ginagamit. Now, ito pong dahon, ito is what the usual suman. Ang distinctive, okay. So just like any, the approach in culture study is always to note what is distinctive. To know a culture, you identify. So meron kang basihan. You begin with your base knowledge, your own experience. Then because something stands out, then that is what is distinctive. Something you don't know very well or you haven't come across with yet. So something stands out. So sa inyo siguro, medyo kakaiba itong suman na ito. Hindi siya dahon ng saging. Ito ay dahon ng hagik-hik. No, hagik-hik. Yeah, it's a long leaf, striated, elongated. Ngayon, pinag-uusapan namin itong suman latik ng Leyte. Yung lasa ng suman ay nadadagdagan. There is a flavor enhancer from the leaf of the hagik-hik. And then it becomes even more beautiful yung patterns because the striation of the hagik-hik marks on the surface of the suman. Tapos meron pa silang idinadagdag na there is another distinctive ingredient that makes it yellowish. It's some kind of flavor also, which I noted in Carigara Leyte. Yun nakakadagdag na enhance, the flavor is enhanced. Okay, so even the folding is, well, designed so well. Ang ganda kasi sinusunod niya ang striations. So it's an art. Okay, so this is suman latik of Leyte. Very ordinary, no? But it is so delicious. No? This one is delicious. This particular one I had at UP Canteen, Tacloban. Okay, sorry, I cannot bring, could not bring enough. Okay, not enough for, well, I have the moron, okay? Right. So yan, merienda, minindal, pwede. Pwede rin siya dessert. Okay? Well, watch out on your carbs. All right, thank you. Puto, okay. This is from the book Culinaria. There were, I flashed 2 other shots from Culinaria, edited by Mickey Phoenix. There are articles authored by our best chefs, Margarita Forres, Claude Tayag included. These are photographs by Neil Oshima. Well, not for widespread dissemination, only for educational purposes. So eto po yung puto na kinuna ng picture ni Neil Oshima. So we can have an entire book on puto from all over the Philippines. Just puto and just suman. A suman book, a puto book. Okay, thank you. Okay, here, pulutan. Ito yung pulutan. Kilala niyo po ito? Ni internet, isaw. Okay, isaw. Nako, hindi po ba ito tinatawag din na ayudi? Ang tawag dyan. Early on, I think in the 80s, ayudi ang tawag dyan. So this exciting street food barbecue. And we have here fried talangka, opo, for pulutan. Okay, this is opo, so very adventurous menu of the Filipino pulutan. Okay, ano mga paraan natin ng pagluto? Many of this you know already, but I will just emphasize some, especially the rare way. Kinilaw, inihaw, inasinan at pinatuyo, alam niyo yon, ano? Yung tuyo, pinausukan, smoked, tinapa, especially nilaga, boiled. Okay, then what do we have? Nilotlot o luto sa kawayan, take note of that. And then we have labtingan, labtingaw. Hinudno is bake actually. So itong bake actually is hinudno yan, no? Pero I was referring to this as hinudno, bake the traditional way, na kahit lata lang, just use a can. No? That's good enough. Okay? And then pinasingaw tulad ng puto at suman, steam, right? Paksiw with vinegar, boiled with vinegar, prito with oil, gisa, saute, bake is in the oven. I would like to emphasize, because you know this already. Labtingao, I just included that because it's a kind of drying of fish, but it is not sun-dried for a whole time. Just maybe 2 hours, 1 hour maybe, salted. Yeah, fresh fish, salted, and then dried for a while. We have that in the Visayas. Summer, we have that. Ang sarap. Try it. Yeah, you can do it at home. No, with fleshy fish, tapos 1 or 2 hours dried, asinan ng konti, and then fry. No? And you can keep it for a while. Labtingaw, no? Ito na lang, nilotlot o luto sa kawayan. Nako, now, bakit natin dapat? Yun ang tanong, di ba? Bakit? It's not just because it is us, but because we have heritage food that is already going out of practice. Vanishing tradition. Okay, so we have we will be flashing the slides here. I'm emphasizing this indigenous way of cooking. Miss Donna, our next slide. Okay, I took this from the Bilaan internet. Lot. May term din ng Bilaan, hindi ko lang nahuli. Cooking in bamboo tubes. Cooking in the bamboo. The Manobos of North Cotabato, they do that. The Aita, all over, they do that. Pampangan, it's in the internet. I saw the Aitas of Guimaras, in a festival, Guimaras and Negros. They prepare this also. And we do that also in Waray area. In the Waray term, it's nilotlot. Nilotlot. You put that inside the bamboo. My father used to do that also in panit and kapis. And then cooked in charcoal or burning wood. Okay? It's very interesting. This is an ancient way of cooking when there were no cooking vessels like pots and metal. So anong ginagamit natin? Kawayan. No, merong sisidlan. We have a vessel. And that is, in the Waray area, it's bagakay. No? Ito ata, I don't know if this is bagakay. Not sure, it's rather thick. Okay, nakabalot pa. It is whatever the main ingredient is, it could be a root crop, it could be vegetable, or you can have protein like fish, pork, or chicken. Okay, and then inserted into the bamboo tube. Binias kasi you cut across the node, then it becomes a vessel, becomes a container. Then next slide, please. This blaan, this is from the Aita website. This is how they prepare the. This is the structure, okay, for cooking. So we have wood, burn the wood, and then we have the tubes arranged over, yeah, but let's stand on each side. Okay, but I saw yung directly on the charcoal, yeah. Right, the next slide, please. There, that's rice cooked in bamboo. Here we have vegetable and some meat. To pork ata ito. This one is parang pako, right? This is aita. Okay, cut it. The taste is pristine. The taste is pristine. Then there is also the bamboo juice seeping into the ingredients inside. And there is also the, if it's wrapped in banana, then you have the juices of the banana. So yung last, you have, it's difficult to describe. I would just say pristine, napakadalisay. No, pure taste, everything organic. Everything organic. I witnessed the cooking done by the Aitas. Well, gumamit sila ng MSG. Sabi na, huwag na kayong gagamit ng MSG, hindi na kailangan yan. No? Kasi yung panlasa na lang. So, traditional way, everything is organic. No? And the ingredients are coming from the forest. Okay? Yung meron silang isang klase ng parang labong. Oh, parang labong, I forgot the name. Parang labong, maputi rin. And then bits of that inside, and then riverine shells inside. You will have to try it to know the taste. No? Yung ibang napakadalisay yung linamnam. Okay, please take note of the word linamnam. All right. So there, no? Nilot-lot. Let's move. So ano yung mga sangkap natin? Alam na ninyo to, no? Halaman, tanim, bungang kahoy at gulay, mga pampatingkad ng lasa, flavor enhancers, we have plenty of that. Hayop, alam nyo na rin, water, marine, riverine, or land, on land, and air. Mga katutubong sangkap at hiram sa banyaga. I'm emphasizing this because of the indigenization theory, that we can have indigenous ingredients and we can also use foreign ingredients as well as adapt foreign processes, foreign procedures, and yet adjust to our own taste. Okay? What's our next? All right. Mga pagdiriwang sa iba't ibang baitang ng bilog ng buhay, to look at food as a process and in every milestone of life, or even in a simple event as when somebody visits you. No? Palaging, ay nako, kung wala kayong maipagsisilbi, when we are not able to serve anything at all for snacks, we apologize. Pasensya na po, wala man lang kami. Ano ba naman dyan? Meron naman pala. I recently visited a Bilaan household. Ay nako, they were all apologies, pasensya na po. Wala po kaming maipapa-snack sa inyo. Abay, ano po yung isang sako ng mangga na nasa harap namin? No? So they had a whole sack of freshly harvested mangoes. My goodness. Sige. Oh my God, fresh from the tree. Iba yun, the immediacy of freshness. You have to capture that. You have a guava tree. Nako, iba yung lasa ng bagong pitas or hinog sa puno. Okay, so that's one of the qualities of our food, freshness, the immediacy of freshness, taken from the sea, just harvested, just gathered. Unfortunately, our young people only know mall or grocery, no? Grocery ingredients, nawawala na yung experience. So bakit natin kailangan i-assert yung pagsusuri, pag-aaral, at panlasa, matikmang muli ito. Because it is the richness of experience that they will miss. No? The humanity, the creativity of humanity in our culture, the creative intelligence. They will never know that when they face their gadgets all night and sleep with their cell phones beside them. No? Madidedin ng kanila because they see fruits, menu, internet. Okay, bayabas na sa internet. Hindi na ninyo matitikman yung timyas ng tamis. Yun yung linamnam na mahuhuli natin. How to catch. Wala na si Dr. Tatagalog ako sandali. Okay, anyway, babalik siya. English ulit. Sige. Anyway, so yung timyas, hindi ko alam sa tayo, timyas ng tamis. The beautiful word timyas, Tagalog, which I first heard from the national artist Dr. Lumbera. Okay, he had this word in the songs of Maria Clara, yung mga kanta dun sa No Limitangere, in the staging, timyas. Well, Ed was beside me also. Nako, timyas, poetic. Anong ibig sabihin yung timyas? Yung tamis ng linamnam, ng sarap. You have these terms of sarap. I'll share with you, Dr. Saludades, the article of Ed, ang linamnam ng sarap. Okay, the last paper that he wrote for a conference on Philippine psychology before he died. So I'll share with you, ang linamnam ng sarap. Ano yung timyas? no? Itong tamis na ito ng ating linamnam. The deliciousness of the sweetness of our taste. That is what our young people will miss if they no longer are able to pick a fresh fruit from its tree or to wait for a papaya to ripen in its tree. Yun ang hindi mahuhuli ng ating kabataan. What will they miss? They will miss the utter beauty, that specialness of experience. They will never have it if we don't share that. Ano nga? Anong beautiful? Ano yung beautiful? Ayun na, okay? Okay. Mamaya, I'm leading you to that, to my thesis, okay, concept. Ngayon, pag alam na ninyo yung pamamaraan, alam na ninyo yung base culture, and then you're able to compare with others. No? You have the highlight, the outstanding. So compare what is sour in your place and what's sour in the other, what is bitter, what is not bitter, and compare. Huh? Then malalaman mo ngayon, ano yung panlasa mo, ano yung panlasa niya, then you would understand yourself more. Okay? There are two things I have in mind for you. All right? So ihalin, then compare. Okay, here, your location or your reference, your locus is your own culture, your own history, your life experience, your taste. Then reach out, compare, study in relation with others. Then that will be a richer knowledge. All right? Let's move to the next slide. Okay. We'll move to the second part. Anyway, ganito yun. I'll just share my personal experience, okay? We locate ourselves, kasi ASEAN studies, okay, is an emerging discipline, especially in the socio-political context of life in the world now. We have to strengthen our ASEAN connection. So Philippines in relation to ASEAN, okay? Then we have to draw the similarities, the commonalities. Yung reference natin, Filipino food, Filipino culture. Then how do we connect with the others? We connect by seeing the similarities. We celebrate through the similarities as well as through the variations, through the differences. But we connect and strengthen our similarities. Doon tayo talaga magkakaisa, not the difference. Even among Filipinos, strengthen, articulate, define, and assert that we are similar more than different. We are an archipelago. We are not a landlocked territory. So we connect easily with each other. We are not divided by sea. We connect with each other by sea. Okay? And locus, Luzon, Visayas. Now, since I'm sharing with you my experiences, nandito po ako. So at the age, I am an immigrant Waray. I am not a native-born Waray, although I have relatives in Samar. My reference in my study is my own taste, my own culture. So dito po, and that's the Visayas. Okay. So what I will share with you would be this one, just to exemplify the process or the approach to studying Philippine food. I will have to share with you my experience in understanding my own taste as a Waray now. I'm an immigrant Waray, but my parents are both from Panit and Capiz. My mother moved to Manila. So may ang taste niya, when she cooks sinigang, it's really Tagalog style. Maasim-asim. She uses sampalok. All right? I didn't know Waray food except for the highlights, which I will serve now. Pagka fiesta, ito po yung aming, yeah, okay, moron, okay? Opo, pwede na, yeah. Pwede po. Siguro ito muna ang ating iserve and then later, kasi we will need a spoon for this. Okay. Okay, Dr. Saludades will serve as our host. Thank you, ma'am. So I brought here with you what fascinated me every time we visited our Waray Fiesta, the banquet table. Itong mga suman na to, ito'y distinctive, matingkad, kasi tingnan ninyo, pag mabuksan ninyo yung suman na yan, oo. Opo, masarap daw kasi may tsokolate. Parang narinig ko dito cameraman natin. Masarap yan kasi may tsokolate. Opo. Chocolate suman. Pero hindi siya pure chocolate. May puti, yung plain, at saka meron yung mixed with chocolate na suman. Okay. So have a taste. You can have a second serving. So ito po ang tinatawag na moron. So pagka fiesta table, it was prepared either you have the roll there or cut them into circles. And they are displayed spiral. So I was probably 9 or 10 years old. When I approached the table, naku na, beautiful. Kasi spiral, chocolate spiral siya. So I would taste that. Naku, ang sarap. Ang sarap. So yan po yung moron. So standing out siya talaga, distinctive, napakatingkad. Kasi suman, usually talagang plain white lang yan, di ba? Pero ito, dark brown, chocolate suman, na may halong plain white. Abay, hindi madali ihanda yan dahil ginawa ng mga cousins namin yan. It's really a process na marami kayo kasali, nagkikwentuhan, dahil marami kayong hinahanda. So, napaka-elaborate ng process. Kahit, di ba, pagka maghahalo ka nung mixture, naku po, nakakapagod. So, salisihan. Snack break. Pwede naman po second serving, marami. Marami. Pinaslice lang namin para baka sakali ayan. Para hindi kayo ang tawag dyan, yung masumo, ang tawag. Opo, maumay. Opo, kaya pinaslice. If you like another piece, then go and get another piece. Okay. Originally, tablea, cacao. Ngayon, for convenience, gumagamit sila ng Hershey's. The best is Hershey's. I'm not advertising, pero totoo po yun. Pero I would prefer the cacao though. Hindi po ba? I would prefer the cacao. Pero talagang popular taste kasi yung Hershey's. This is moron of abuyog. I would say, sorry, my friends, my friends in Leyte, but I would say abuyog is the best, the tastiest, the savoriest moron. Abuyog. And my cousins live there. They do that also homemade. Siyempre, mas masarap yung homemade. This one is available every day. Sa suki ko yan kinukuha. Talagang abuyog. They run fast. They run out fast. Sa airport. This one I got from my suki downtown. By 10 o'clock, wala na yan eh. So I got this the day before my departure. And this will last, the shelf life would be without refrigeration, 3 to 4 days. Okay yan, masarap pa yan. Okay, preserved by the sugar. And if refrigerated, 2 weeks. Then just if you don't want it cold and firm, then just steam. It's like, it's like freshly cooked pagka steamed after it's refrigerated. Okay. Yeah, it's called moron. Mabilis hindi malumanay. Moron. Okay, notice that this is not all chocolate. It's a combination of the plain suman and chocolate. Ano yung tinatawag na pagka-ground na po? Galapong. Galapong. So it's a combination of the boiled galapong with coconut milk, right? And then there is a portion with suman. Kasi ang panlasa nga ng waray, mild. Ayaw niya ng sobra-sobra. Ayaw niya ng sobra-sobra. Extreme na puro chocolate. May mga nagpi-prepare. There are people who prepare but unusual, okay? Upon order of pure chocolate. But the typical waray does not like that. Now, what you're tasting is typical waray. This is the best commercial abuyog. Yay! Commercial abuyog, downtown Tacloban. But we even have superior taste. Superior kind of moron, which are homemade upon order. Na yun. Actually, I wanted to order from my cousins, but it would take time. They're in the inner town. All right. So that's the fascination I had when I was a child. Moving from, I was born Cagayan de Oro, and then when I was 6, 7, moved to Tacloban. Ang panlasa ko ay panlasa ng mother ko. My mother is Panitan Capiz, and she loves saluyot, she loved takway, yung gabi na parang ipinapaksiw lang. Ano? And then my father preferred, this is waray. This is waray. Yung father ko naman lived in the farm, and he had very, very simple taste, very pure, like grilled, dry, grilled. He doesn't eat vegetables except ampalaya, ginisa. No, ganun yung father ko. But he loved my mother's cooking. He loved my mother's cooking, and his favorite is leche flan, his favorite dessert. So, yun yung panlasa namin na hiligay non, panit and kapis. That's what I grew up with. And my mother was a home economics, so I grew up being trained in the kitchen. Okay, and she would cook macaroni salad, ganon. And she would cook kare-kare. So Tagalog dishes, the popular fiesta dishes during parties. So yun ang panlasa namin. But when I would look at the moron, I never had that, iyan. Fruit, because Mindanao, I loved marang and durian. Sa Leyte, yan ang una kong encounter. Masarap ang moron. And binagol here. This is also, we will need a spoon for this. Okay, for those who would want to taste. Okay, the binagol. Binagol. You will notice, maybe we can we have, it's made of Talian. Yeah, we can slice it down. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Then a spoon would help. Yeah, we have to slice it just for you to see what I'm trying to point out. Yeah. Yeah. This is made of Talian. It's a root crop that grows in the Rocky Mountains of Calbiga in abundance because Leyte has run out of it. They grow to about 7 feet tall, that high, and brought to Leyte because the technology, the cooking practice, the cuisine, okay, the knowledge for cooking this binagol. This is also very popular. This is distinctive Leyte food, okay? It is only there in Leyte that it is prepared, this binagol. Binagol, the word comes from bagol. Bagol refers to coconut. So it is placed, coconut shell, placed in a coconut shell. But the main food really is a lidgid. That which, when you grate, lidgid refers to root crop that is grated. Okay, grated and then mixed with coconut milk. So this root crop, it must be a species or a variety of gabi. But what is interesting about this Talian is that it is toxic. It's toxic. Unless it is boiled for several hours. So don't worry, detoxified na po yan. Okay? So yun yung creative intelligence. Siguro bago nila nagawa yan, ang daming namatay. Okay? Bago nila na perfect. Before we came up with this perfect taste, okay, of the binagol. May mga experimentations yan which cost lives. Kasi detoxify. Makati siya. Makati in your throat. You will really feel itchy inside. So, yan. No? That is the binagol. Talian. And ang ganda dito kasi the resource is coming from Samar. That's the very significant point about the Talian preparation, because we have the resource coming from Samar, and then the cooking knowledge is in Leyte. Okay. Now notice Meron siyang inner core na medyo makalamay. No? Yun ang pinakamatamis, di ba? No? Tapos yung sa ibabaw medyo bland. Okay? Now, compare the moron and the talian. Yung principle niya ng taste. There is always something extreme but only a little. And then you have something that cuts that extreme taste so that mahuhuli. You'll be able to negotiate the mildness. So it is retained. Mild talaga ang taste ng waray. That mildness. We cannot have extreme taste. You have the very sweet core of the binagol, which is also more of the liquid. It is syrupy, no? Very syrupy. And then you have this thick, and the texture is different because it's thick, it's more solid upper core. That's about 2/3, no? 2/3 of the moron, the substantive, the food mismo. Okay, and then so when you mix that, it becomes mild. So yun. So know what is this principle at work. So ito yung panlasa, itong panlasa. Paano nahuhuli yan? How are they able to capture? How are the extreme tastes negotiated? What taste in our range of taste, the sweetness, the bitterness, the sourness, the what else? The spiciness or pungency. How are these mixed so that you come up with this kind of taste? What is the Ilocano taste? What is the Ilonggo taste? So may mga regional distinctions yan. May particular mix. So when we do that analysis at that level, okay, yung hindi pa nagagawa ngayon is the biochemical. Okay, yung biochemical. Yung reaction to the body, ano yung processes, the chemical components, wala pa tayo, maybe nutrition, and then the food tech people would be able to do that. Okay, so yun po ang maganda sigurong interdisciplinary study, may biology, agriculture, sundan ng economics. If we study food as a phenomenon, no? that entire realm. Okay, so back to my base, my base taste, which is our case study for today. So yun, no? Nahuhuli, nakikita na ninyo yung waray na panlasa. Hindi siya extreme taste. Ayaw niya. Siguro, sinong pinakamatamis na panlasa sa Pilipinas? Who has the sweetest of sweets? Kapampangan? Bulacan. No? Bulacan is well known. No? It's a sweet center. Yeah, Bulacan. Pastillas. Yeah, I have tasted Bulacan. The waray is really mild sweetness. Okay, so I'll be sharing with you my waray experience. All right, so let's move down. Ang pagkain ng mga waray which you have tasted, and these are my first adventures into waray taste, no? Through the moron and the binagol. And fiesta food is the lechon. Now, what is distinctive about the lechon? How do you eat lechon? Ano ang kasabay ng lechon? A bite of lechon. Lechon sauce. What's your favorite lechon sauce? Huh? Liver sauce, Mang Tomas. Sweetish. Tagalog po, yung Kapampangan po yun. Din. Not commercial. Okay, so liver sauce. Okay, liver sauce. Oh, yeah. I have tasted liver sauce. Enjoy ako. Pero alam ko lang yung Mang Tomas, no? Unfortunately. Sa Waray area, well, Visayans, you would also dip that in vinegar, right? To cut the grease. Vinegar with garlic, right? Okay. The Warays would eat lechon with gabi. Kaya ano't padis, ano ang kapares, ano ang partner, ganon. Ano it padis, tatanong nila, gabi. Gabi, yeah. Kasabay yan, when you go to the beach or during fiesta, there is a serving of gabi. Interesting din yung mga serving, yung slices, may mga adornment din yan, yung Rick Rock style or just plain cut. Kinukulayan pa ngayon ng violet dye so that it becomes like looking like ube. But that's gabi, either white or lavender, light lavender, right? Oh, gabi is ang tawag dito for me, hindi naman dilemma, parang it's a problem. Some kind of a problem. Okay, pag hindi ka kasi waray, like my late mother-in-law, nagpasalubong ako sa kanya ng gabi, isang box, isang basket. hindi kinakain yung gabi. Ilocana yung mother-in-law ko. Oo. Wala daw lasa yun. Okay, so yun na. So it was for me really, okay, ano ba itong gabing ito? Ba't ba gustong-gusto ng waray? Okay. When the waray eat gabi with lechon, it cuts the grease. It's carbohydrate, right? When you eat lechon, it's not sufficient. It's not enough that they would dip it in the vinegar and garlic. Okay? Sasabayan niya ng gabi. So, matagal ko, bakit ba ganun? So experience ko ngayon, ay tama, no? So, kumakapit yung grease doon sa carbohydrate. Lulunukin mo na. Malinis na naman yung buccal cavity. It cleanses your buccal cavity of grease. You're ready for the next bite. Right? So sit, especially if you're having inuman. Okay? You sit for hours and hours, eating, drinking, sharing jokes, singing, and then dancing. So, yun. Kasi, mild nga ang panlasa. No, para hindi maumay. So, you wouldn't, it won't be greasy. Then you can eat again. All right? So, ganun yung waray taste. Okay. Now, the wonderful thing about waray food culture is that okay, let's move. Mamaya, para punchline yun, punchline. Okay, so I discovered later on that my taste was not waray in food. When Ed Alegre goes to Tacloban, and I bring him to the market, and he was looking for what is distinctive in the Leitenyo market, and found it one morning in the market. This bunch of vegetables, okay. This is a bunch of vegetables. They are sold in bundles all together. Okay, we have here 4, okay? 4 leaves. Kilala niyo po ba ito? Siyempre, ito kilala ninyo. This one is, these are gabi leaves, sir. Yeah. Gabi leaves. Young gabi leaves. Pero hindi nga ito kompleto. There should also be gabi shoots. So this is not complete. These are basic ingredients for a vegetable called lawot. Lawot. No? Lawot means mix. Oh, that's a bit itchy. Be careful. If you're allergic, that has allergens. Okay? And this leafy one, they're no longer very fresh. Agitway, parang 5 fingers. It's very, very leafy, very nutritious. Yeah, that's called agitway. Then we have this purplish, a bit slimy, yes. Agitway po ang tawag namin dyan. And here we have harum. Okay, harum. Okay, harum. Harum. That gives color to the soup. No? That gives color to the soup. And this is, now this is the flavor enhancer. Aromatic sweet basil, sangig. Yan. Okay, that's the superstar. That's the superstar. Okay. This is phenomenal because we have a basic bundle of 3 veggies, okay, which is available in the market, and then you can add others. The only vegetable that I could think of, okay, and I was told not to mix that into your lawot-lawot waray veggie mix is, can you guess, yung ayaw ng mga waray. Hindi mo pwedeng ilagay yan doon. Bitter. Almost something very sour. Something bitter, which is ampalaya. Hindi ka maglalagay ng ampalaya sa veggie mix na yan. It's just boiled. Okay. Now, what is phenomenal about the lawot-lawot is that it can accommodate to as many as 21 vegetables in one dish, in one preparation. And I would say that this is a quintessential waray-waray vegetable. But there are variations from community to community. You can put in mushrooms, you can put in, there is an herb that is really very colorful, no, called dayao, which I saw in one of the markets. Napakaganda kasi orange. I still have not traced it again. It's not always available. I saw it only once. And when we mix that into the basic vegetable lawot-lawot, because it has coconut milk, we have the marbling effect of the colors of this dayao. Beautiful. And put it in a colorless glass. Beautiful. Now we have this veggie mix. Now, how is it prepared? The hard ingredients, yung mas matitigas, like this gabi, okay? That's underneath. But this has to be coiled into a knot. No? Ninanat yan muna. Okay, like this. Knotted yan. So yan ang nasa ilalim. Tapos yung mga parang first batch lang yung matitigas and then first boil. Now for the waray, in preparing the gata, the coconut milk, the waray will always have the first squeeze. First squeeze. Ano yon? Yung kakang gata. And then next one is the malabnaw. That which is not very pure coconut milk. Okay? Ang tawag doon ay, yung first squeeze yun yung kakanggata, hindi po ba? Yung purely, you don't add milk, just squeeze out. So you have pure coconut milk. And then add more milk for the second squeezing. Then you have the tuno at saka utibas. No? Those are two terms of the waray. Utibas yung medyo malabnaw, yung tuno, yun yung kakanggata. Okay? So boil the first batch underneath with the second squeeze. And then the last batch, the more leafy and soft vegetables, would be poured with the kakanggata. So it is so rich. It is so rich. And the waray would have terms for that. Yung texture, yung viscosity, masaputok. That's the term. Now, there are terms kasi, yung linguistic variations marami, cognate sa waray language. So the terms being referred to the taste, yung masaputok, okay, just the texture. Can we move to that? The texture of the kakanggata when mixed with all the other ingredients and it's cooked and allowed to simmer or boil a little. How do we describe in English? Thick, viscous, slippery, okay? Pero yung thickness and creamy, okay, creamy, hindi siya thin, it's thick, it's really viscous, okay? That's really a favorite. So that our kinila would also have that kakanggata. It has to be masaputok. At manamis-tamis din yan. So you have all this gustatory, this taste experiences, okay, all together in one mix and within that range of mildness. That's rather sophisticated. Hindi madali makontrol yan. It was difficult for me to learn how to prepare sinigang the waray way, to capture that mildness. Yung tamang-tamang timpla. That's why when the waray is asked, o anong lasa? Eksakto lang. Exact. From the term exact English. But eksakto la means tamang-tama lang. Ano nga yung tamang-tama lang? Basta tamang-tama lang. Okay, you have to taste it to know. Ano yung tamang-tama lang sa waray? Yung sa Ilocano, yung tamang-tama lang, mapait yun. Huh? Okay, so tamang-tama lang. But if we compare the extremes of Ilocano taste or the sweetness or sourness of the Bulakenyo and the spiciness of the Bulacan, talagang nandito sa gilid ng mildest extreme ang waray. So it's not easy to capture. Okay, so the first person, okay, who articulated this was Ed Alegre and Doreen. He and Doreen together when they were doing their book on Lasa. Okay, and it was the time that I became conscious. Okay, I became conscious of my being waray. Ano ang kultura mo? Being an immigrant, it was difficult to respond to that. And I realized, well, I spent more of my life in Tacloban area, and after tasting and became conscious from my base taste as a child of the Hiligaynon, Tagalog taste, I could say that I was not a waray in terms of taste until I got into the waray food world consciously. Okay, so Now, there, that opened. And ironically, it had to be Ed who opened me to that world, no? Consciously of the waray. So, ang pagkain ng waray ay talagang ganon, tamang-tama lang. Just right, just the particular mix has to do with mildness. It's mild. All right? Can we have the... Okay, so there we have gabi and lechon. Okay. Gabi and lechon, magkapares yan. Okay? Next slide, please, Donna. There's your... Yeah, you had that. Binagol. Ito yung sinasabi ko, that's the inner core. Okay, the sweetest portion, this portion. And then in the serving ethos, or when you eat with others, binagol is shared with others because there's a lot in one shell. So you share it with others. Pagka ang kapatid ko ay pumunta sa ref at nandoon ito, when my brother would go to the ref and get a serving and removes everything inside, that's really impolite. Okay? Everybody must have a share of the sweet core. Kung baga bastos ka pag inubos mo na lahat ng matamis. Parang sarili mo lang iniisip mo. Ano ba yan? Ha? Wala na. You deprive the others because it has to be a combination. It has to be a combination of the sweetest and the not so sweet. Okay, so this is also beautifully served. If you scoop it out, pwede rin yun out of the shell entirely, and then serve it with the inner bottom on top. Oh my goodness, it is so sexy. Only the syrup flowing down. Sensual, okay? That was going to be my punchline. No? The viscosity of masaputok, the mildness of the waray taste, this viscosity, and this really very unpredictable gradations of what is sweet, what is sour, not sour. Okay, that has to do with sensuality, very, very sensual. Okay, the waray sensibility. Okay, next, please. Okay, you can identify that now. Binagol, moron, and this is sagmani. Sagmani is made of gabi. Okay, and then the inner core is also very sweet. It's similar to the principle of the binagol. Yeah, the sagmani is made of gabi. The inner portion also has the caramelized portion and medyo liquid. And then sagmani because the addition of peanuts. There's a little, just a little peanut. Kaya ayan ata ang peanut niya. Right? Okay. So delicacies of the waray, and then, yeah, just for emphasis. And here is the lawot-lawot. This is, yeah, you can add pako to lawot-lawot. This is the fresh sangig with flowers, okay, the sweet basil, yeah, and gabi leaves. So that has to be knotted, no? Knotted. All right. The batuan, which you have. And, oh, this is not the Ilocano pakbet. Is this Kapampangan? Tagalog siya, ginisa. Right. That is also similar to the waray pakbet. Yeah. Kinilaw, okay, kinilaw. Waray kinilaw has plenty of, not plenty, but rather has coconut milk with the kakanggata. With inuman, and there, Buyugan, Hall of Famer, that's waray performance, street performance. I just brought this just, kasi ito yon. If that is the mildness of the waray is in the food, because culture is integral, definitely it will be reflected in the other domains, in the other facets of the sensibility. Okay, in the other aspects of the personality, in the realm of music, in dance, and in social relations. Lilitaw yan. Paano kaya? I'll articulate that later on. And then secondly, the tinikling. Okay, it's a waray dance, tinikling. Yeah, its origin is Tanawan Leyte, where Francisca Reyes Aquino, National Artist for Dance, did her research and discovered this and documented the tinikling. It's a farm dance. depicting the movements of the tikling. During harvest, they would put the bamboo pestles together, so it's very well documented. And the kuratsa is the popular folk dance of the Waray. Now, this performance and the music. Ang music ng Waray, yung kuratsa, folk dance, okay, there are high notes, right? When we sing, meron kang highest note, meron kang lowest note. Kahit na mataas yung high note and then it goes a little lower, hindi siya biglang bababa. Hindi ganon. Merong in-between negotiations. Isn't that mild? Right? Isn't that mild? No, walang wide gaps. No, not wide gaps. So, if we look at music, makikita rin yon because that's a characteristic of culture, right? So, you see mildness in the food, that's mildness also in the music. All right? And pag sumayaw, hindi siya big lips. Ballet, hindi. No? Yung kuratsa, ganyan-ganyan lang yan. Ganun lang yan. No? Similar to the kalinga, kaya lang yung kalinga, hindi siya as wavy as the waray. Ganon. So, yun, isn't that also mildness? And even if the men would dance the kuratsa and they would leap lightly, hahabol din sana teeny-weeny steps. Okay, so isn't that mildness? Okay. Yeah, that's money. Yeah, that's money. Okay, this is what you call the gala. In the kuratsa. Kuratsa is a courtship dance. It's also a wedding dance. And it's also used, it's a social dance. During social events, pagka talagang masaya, mas masaya pag may sayawan ng kuratsa. And this is performed in any event. If you put the scarf there, it's already expected that show of support from among the audience. Sa sayawan, kung sino yung, in Leyte kasi summer iba, sa Leyte daw, meron yung pinapaupo. Is it one or the other? Papaupuin yung babae, tapos yung lalaki ang maglalagay. Parang tinutubos niya. No, tinutubos niya yung babae para sumayaw ulit. Tapos yung lalaki naman papaupuin, yung babae naman ang maglalagay. And then the others will also drop their coins or their bills. So it's a fundraising activity. If it is done during the kasalan, during a wedding dance, that's their initial fund for their life together. Okay? If it is done for your school campaign, meron kayong fundraising. It's also a political tool now. When the politicians during the Biting de Avance would appear in a gathering and there is a kuratsa dancing, they're ready for their bills. Yeah. And there is an art of throwing the bills into the air so that they would flutter along the wind and the money would spread. So it's a spectacle of power. Diba? Psh, umuulan ng pera. So 1,000 pesos would be broken down into 20 peso bills. So you see the fluttering of many bills. Yeah, so saya din. 20-20. Nakahanda yan. Pagkakasal naman, if it's a wedding, the ninangs and the ninongs would be ready with several bills. And, there is a way of dancing when you throw, graceful then. Okay. So support of the sponsors for the wedding dance. So that's one. It's good for fundraising talaga. Okay. So there. Ito ay festival this is a drinking festival in UP Tacloban. Okay, so I'm ending the lecture with this before I give my punchline. Base culture Waray is mild, and when you look at the culture through food, what is reflected in food will be reflected in all aspects of the culture. Okay, so food is a reflection of the sensibility. In this case, I share with you the mildness of the Waray, the elan vital of the Waray. Okay, ibang usapan naman po, bakit sila ganun? Bakit sila ganun? Pero ang tatapang naman nila, no? So, ibang kwento naman yan. Ang tatapang, yun na nga kasi napaka-mild. Pag nagalit, nako, ayun ang negative. Actually, that was part of my notes. Yung negative aspect of the waray, sinasabing mga traidor kasi hindi mo nararamdaman kalaban ka na pala. Kaya yung mga outsiders, mag-ingat kayo dyan, traidor yan. Kaya nga, natalo ang mga Amerikano sa Balangiga. Hindi nila nararamdaman. The Americans were defeated. According to Dr. Ray Imperial, the Balangiga victory, the Balangiga victory, the raid that the native warriors did against the Americans in 1908, September, was the single worst defeat of the U.S. Army in the Philippines. And it was a blow against the U.S. imperial government at that time. Ang galing nilang maghanda. They did it so well. Maingat na maingat. They never knew. Wow. A little dramatic script because they plan it at breakfast time. Before dawn, kunwari may patay, nakabihis silang mga babae. They were dressed, disguised as women, carrying coffins, with men carrying coffins. There were the bolos inside the coffin, and they were able to enter the dawn mass. And then the garrison was in the church area. Okay, the American soldiers would lay down arms for their breakfast. And there was a signal given by a woman, and then the warriors came in. Of course, supported, but one view is that they were supported by the Philippine Revolutionary Army and wipe out. Kaya it was painful for the U.S. Army. It's written in a book by Joseph Schott, the point of view of the Americans, that it was a massacre. Teka muna, no? It was not a massacre. Okay? It was a rebellion. It was protest. Okay? It was technically a military raid, according to Captain Emmanuel Martin. And they were defeated. And so it was a painful defeat. So in vengeance, in retaliation, sunugin ang buong Samar. So, well, Dr. Imperial, the guerrilla, the war expert, history of war historian, wrote that about 60,000 people were killed in Samar at the time. That's another expertise sila nang mag-uusap dyan. Ano? Yun, natalo. Okay, another story about itong traidor, treachery daw, treachery quote unquote. There is also this, well, things that need to be validated, also against the American Army. So they have befriended, they were nice. The Americans were nice to the locals, and they went on reconnaissance in the mountain forest. This is in Samar, with the local guides. And provisions were good for 3 days. On the 4th day, no more food. They were still out there in the mountain. So the locals were in charge of their food. They gathered some of the root crops like the talian. But what they gathered was something else called the kurot, and cooked porridge out of this root crop, and served the American soldiers. Dead. Patay. Patay sila. Hindi nila namamalayan. Ang galing nilang umarte. Itong mga mild warays. Yun, that's how they were killed. Very quietly. Okay, so yun naman yung negative. Alright. Yun yung negative. Matatapang, hindi mo nararamdaman, kalabang ka na pala. So ingat kayo. So be very cautious when you deal with the warays. If you're not kind, don't worry, there are no toxins in the moron and the binagul. Wala rin gayuma yan. Okay? And, okay, that. No? So yun na yung culture as food as a cultural artifact. And yung talaga, mapupush natin na ganito. I began with the point of Dr. Kovar that the Filipino world is animated and sustained by the spiritual world. So when we look into the rituals of rice harvest, or when we deal with the tree. Or sa Batanes naman, bago sila pumatay, bago nila patayin ang isda, okay? It is always Thanksgiving because there is an acknowledgement for the supernatural forces at work that are beyond understanding. Ano yung sinasabi ng mga nag-aaral ng babaylanism, no? There is knowledge that is beyond our understanding, and there is knowledge that cannot be disseminated, cannot be made known easily. Yung mga karunungang hindi hayag, may mga karunungang hayag na pwede nating ipaalam. We can share knowledge, but there is also knowledge that we may not understand much of and may not need to be disseminated, the sacred core. The sacred core. Kaya kapag ang mga ancestral, okay, kahit ngayon mga farmers, before they begin to plant, there are rituals for Thanksgiving. And the spirits of nature, spirits of ancestral farmers, they are thanked for the guidance, for the knowledge that had been shared, and for the sustenance that's ongoing. No? So, ang pananaw natin sa pagkain, tulad ng kanin, at kung ano pa mang ulam, at kung ano-ano pa mang mga bungang kahoy at gulay, we see them as grace. Ang pananaw natin ay biyaya. Ganun po. Kahit sa pagsusuri, kinakailangan, yun ang ating ipapasok sa ating mga framework ng pagsusuri, na ang pagkain sa ating kultura ay biyaya. Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat po. This is my family. That's my son and my former students who are my extended family. And this is the cook from whom I owe so much knowledge about lawot-lawot. Her mother shared that knowledge. She's still with me, Mana Inday, Mrs. Seria Bagason, who is my resource person in most of the books and articles that I have written. And yeah, so flash, last slide. Halina at kumain na po tayo. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Prof. Joyce. Thank you for a very educational, pedagogical approach to the lecture. We benefit from your rearticulation of the theory of indigenization of the food culture. And in my own words, it's ventriloquizing the scholarship of Doreen Fernandez, Doreen Fernandez and your husband, Ed Alegre, ventriloquizing because they are no longer here, but they speak through the wife. So it's ventriloquizing their scholarship, and all of us have learned from their scholarship. We apologize that we don't have the time to entertain questions because we have a succeeding activity to the lecture series. We have the ASEAN Studies orientation. And but if there's a very very quick question that you would like to ask, I can see Prof. Jason's hand. Prof. Jason is from UP Diliman.
Hi, good morning, ma'am. I'm Jason from UP. First of all, I would like to thank you for the food, for our mind, and also for our stomach. My question is about yung idea po kasi ng ASEAN, especially nowadays that many restaurants from other, Thai restaurants and Vietnamese restaurants are coming in the Philippines. I'm just thinking, what are the things, how do we negotiate with other ASEAN taste? And what are the things or the elements of our taste that we cannot just give up?
What do we negotiate and what we don't give up? For example, Thai taste, Dr. Kunchon. Unang-una, anong matingkad sa atin ng panlasa? We ask them first. Natikim naman kayo ng Thai. Ano yung tom yum soup? Tom yum. Tom yum soup, spicy. Okay. Sir, is the tom yum, have you tasted the tom yum in Philippine restaurants? How do you find it? So there are adjustments already. The Thai chef has already adjusted it to be acceptable to the Filipino palate. You don't even have to complain anymore. Although you can always tell the waiters na not too spicy, ganon. So you don't negotiate your own taste at all. You don't. Pagka hindi talaga pwede, hindi, papasok. Huh? If it's expensive, olives are expensive, so we don't put that in our caldereta every time. So yun, we gobble up what will violate our taste, what will we spew out. Those are the words of it. Spew out what violates your sensibility, and you will be respected. You'll be respected. You can say politely, but generally though, no, not just Filipinos, when you are offered food, when you're a foreign country, when you're traveling and you're offered food, Anthony Bourdain does that a lot, right? If you watch him, what's No Reservations, and he has a new program. I really admire him. Ano po yung title, no? Yung ngayon with the Philippines. What's the title, sir? There's another layover, but I don't know the layover yet. There's another one, after No Reservations. Yung pinasok niya Philippines, he came twice already. Anyway, just an example. I have another example of Ed, but eto muna, Anthony Bourdain, very adventurous. O kahit ikaw lang, pagka hindi ka nasasarapan, titikim ka lang, but you don't refuse, you don't reject, right? Kasi if you reject, it's an insult or you're not connecting. So the person who served will be slighted, especially in the Philippines. Kahit ano yan, huh? Tumikim ka naman lang kahit konti. You don't go to a fiesta and you don't eat a lot. You don't, when you're invited and you say, nakakain na kami, ba't ka pa pumunta? Okay? Si Anthony Bourdain, I really admire him because there was one program, he was in Vietnam, in the marshy area, and these were boats on marshes. So even along the way, tulad sa Pilipinas, gano'n yung mga rivers, dyan naglalaba, dyan na lahat ginagawa, dyan naliligo. So they take a bath there, they wash their dishes there, they wash everything there. Oh, I have an example for you, very, very real. Supposedly short answer, ang dami examples. So, teka muna, interesting kasi ito sa Kalinga to. Anyway, yung kay Anthony Bourdain, so the camera would already pan that, look at this river, everything's happening in this river. And then when they were ready for their serving food, ready for their meal, the host would ask Anthony Bourdain, what would you have? What would you like to have? And then Anthony Bourdain responds, whatever you will have. It's a beautiful response, right? Very kind and sincere response. Ed, ganun din, no? When he goes around during his trekking all over, you don't refuse, except, okay, in Ed's experience, kasi pulutan, very adventurous ang mga pulutan, from dogs to snakes, you will taste if you really want to understand anong sensibility to, bakit ganito sila, okay? Except for one community where they would preserve ba yun? Yeah, they would store. But it's stored not for storage, but really it's the way of treating the meat, the pork meat. Allow it to putrefy with maggots. Ayon, he could not. However adventurous he was, he just had to refuse. Yeah, he had just to refuse. But your host would understand. Alam naman nila na tagalabas ka. You don't eat this. So, yeah. Kaya nga, yung unang tanong dun sa Vietnam, kay Anthony Bourdain, what would you like to have? Because they're also sensitive. So, the key is cultural sensitivity. Now, there is mutual respect both for the host and the guest. Okay, pagka kaibigan mo ng matalik, kung ano lang abutan, okay lang. No? O mamaya na, wala akong pera. Ikaw naman ngayon, di ba? Ganon. So yeah, there is mutual respect. No? That's the negotiation. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Joycey, for that answer. I think we cannot refuse to read the question from our audience watching the web stream. So there's a question for you. Being an island nation, how has the geographic landscape of the Philippines influenced our individual and regionalistic taste? Is it a hindrance or a strong vehicle? Being the landscape.
First, the assumption that we are divided is a myth. Because between islands, like between Samar, Allen, and Bicol, there are a lot of transactions going on there. Kapul Island is north of Samar. They would go to market in Bicol rather than in Samar. That's where they buy their ingredients. Pili is shared between Bicol and northern Samar. You would have delicacies, pili, delicacies in Samar. But of course, Bicol has very well elaborated pili culture, right? So yung assumption na iba-iba or magkakahiwa-hiwalay, myth yan because we really have inter-island connections already, even before the Spaniards came. It was even written by Pigafetta that Lapu-Lapu was visiting Mindanao dahil magkakamag-anak eh. Okay, magkakamag-anak yung taga Cebu, okay, Cebuanos and Leiteños, even as far as Biliran. We have a Biliranon historian who says that Lapu-Lapu is from Biliran. So that's really a myth that we are separated. That's a colonial myth. Waters bind us. We have a maritime culture, marine nga eh. Ngayon yung panlasa, syempre, meron tayong mga base cultures. No? I did the linguistic map of Samar, so I came up with the idea of a base culture, the base centers rather. So base center is probably where the concentration of the conservative taste is. But those at the fringes of the island who you regularly, every day, negotiate with those across the water, they are more connected to each other rather than those. Like, mas connected ang mga taga-Kapul at saka Northern Samar with people of Bicol than people of Tacloban. So those at the fringes of the islands are well connected. Or Ed has already, in his writings of studies of language, Cebuano, for example, yung mga in Leyte, that area facing Cebu are Cebuano speaking. Right? You have Negros facing Cebu, Negros Oriental, pero isa na yung Negros ngayon, are Cebuano speaking. So there are negotiations going on and basis of unity and understanding. So yun na nga, focus on similarities. Focus on similarities. Tingnan natin commonalities like spiritual systems, indigenous peoples, lahat yan is spiritual beliefs. Iba-iba lang yung practices, but there is a belief in kabunian. There is a belief in laon-laan. There is a belief in bathalang may kapal na iisang Diyos ng pakapangyarihan sa lahat. And we have all of these very elaborate spiritual practices we negotiated by a shaman, by a medium, by a dababaylan. So, yung tingnan natin yung pagkakahalin tulad natin. Alam na natin na, at saka mararamdaman natin lahat yung pagkakaiba-iba. But we have been assuming the outsider's lens, not the insider's lens. That's why it's important to be located, to have your locus as yourself. Okay? And then connect in the ways that you can connect. Like, suman, pare-pareho tayong kumakain ng suman. Kami, may tsokolate kami. So, yan, take advantage of that. Now that, well, there are already plans of the previous government and now strengthened by the current administration that there will be the building, how do you call that, installation of trains, railway systems across islands, oh, that's good. No, because there will be more interactions. We need more interactions with each other as Filipinos, as we would need more interactions with each other as ASEANs. Interactions, because mentally and psychologically, we are more connected to Paris and Europe and New York, and now artists go to Prague. Eh, ba't hindi kayo pumunta kay Wang o doon sa Cordillera at magpatattoo o pumunta kay sa Tiboli at at mag-zipline doon across 7 waterfalls, right? They'd rather go to kung saan-saang Mount Everest. Marami tayong bundok dito, di ba? So it's really just that. No? It's really just relocating yourself within yourself, right? Yesterday, naghahanap ako ng prutas last night, late na. Oh, again, ito, pear. Ito, ano to? Apple. Okay? Dalawang klaseng oranges. Aba, may mangga. Saan galing to? Davao. Ang layo ng Davao. Pero Davao, at least Filipino. No? And then you will not suspect. Pwede pa rin mag-suspect may pesticide. Anyway, sa China, medyo suspicious na tayo ngayon because of the China Sea. No. And then suddenly, meron kang ano yon sabi ni Mang A, did I bring it? Yun yung outstanding. Meron kaming ganyang dalandan eh. Yung klaseng, anong tawag nila dito? Galing sa Nueva Vizcaya. Sitsuma, is this foreign? That sounds Japanese. Yeah, yan, Sitsuma. Eh, imbis na magpongkan, anong lasa nito? Siguro mas matamis ang pongkan. Pero mas masarap sigurong i-develop natin to. Right? Our local farmers. Meron naman tayong oranges. In Samar Leyte alone, maraming varieties of oranges were mentioned by Alcina in 1668. So, ganon. No? So, similarities connect with each other. No, Visayans among Visayans, Filipinos among Filipinos. We have to allow inter-campus in UP interactions like this one. Thank you, Dr. Saludades. Now, sharing ideas and sharing food also. Right? Okay, I hope I responded well to the question of our friend out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your enlightening answer and for coming here to UPOU. And as a token of our appreciation for sharing with us your scholarship and truly deepens our understanding of who we are as Filipinos. We would like to request our Dean to hand the token of the certificate of appreciation to Prof. Alegre. If I may just read the citation. So the University of the Philippines Open University Faculty of Management and Development Studies presents this certificate of appreciation to Joyce D. Alegre in recognition of her valuable contributions speaker in the ASEAN Studies Lecture Series held on 12 August 2016 at the UP Open University, Los Baños, Laguna, given this 12th day of August 2016 at the UP Open University headquarters, Los Baños, Laguna, signed Jean Soledades Program Chair and Primo Garcia, Dean. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for those who watched through the web stream. The food that we prepared is for snacks because we thought that we will be finishing the lecture at 11. So but we hope you will still enjoy the snacks that Mia prepared for you. And for those who will be attending the ASEAN Studies orientation, may we invite you to go up to the Chancellor's office, Office of the Chancellor. Thank you very much. Good day, everyone.